Hey, we're live. We're doing the live thing. Oh my gosh, where's D20
Hey,
gone?
we're live. We're
You
doing
turned
the
into an island.
Oh, hang on.
Oh,
Whoa. Uh-oh.
and did you have the audio on?
Well, because I couldn't mute it until it went live.
Oh, I thought it was Ben. I blamed
No,
Ben
it was
immediately.
me. It was me.
Hey, I don't mean to brag, but the stream looks pretty stable at the moment, so that's really good.
Yeah, you're looking good.
Touching wood.
Hey everyone, welcome to Echoes of Divinity, episode 8, which is absolutely wild. I'm trying not to jinx it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Saz. But huge thank you to everyone who's tuning in. It's been a very taxing day trying to get technology working, particularly after the last thing that I tried to do. So thanks everyone for playing along at home. Most important people of the night are the people sitting around the table that aren't me, and for that reason, we're going to go around and we're going to learn who they are and what they're up to and what's going on. We're going to start in reverse order to how I've been asking everything tonight. And Tammy, who are you? What are you doing?
I am Talera79. I'm here playing a. Is she chaotic or just different?
She's chaotic. Yes.
Chaotic.
Yeah.
Chaos is a scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Human barbarian named Scarlet. Human being because as far as she knows she is, but these wings just seem to pop out randomly and she doesn't know why. And that's what I'm doing.
I love that. And on to the next one, Promethean.
Hi, I'm Promethean. There is a 0 in it. I play games sometimes on Twitch, and sometimes those games involve dice, quite often here on It's Fate's Grip, or also Meeples and Dragons, or also The Law Rights.
Or also Winter's Tales.
Correct. I'm in Castleton. And there was one other thing at least. Oh yeah, I'm a drow assassin.
Thanks for sharing.
Stab. Oh no. What have I done?
Wow, that was beautiful. I'm going to clip that later and put it on TikTok. Anyway, moving on. Hey, D.
Hello, all the wonderful peoples on the intertubes. I am me. Tonight I will attempt to inhabit Marcus, a human bard of... I'll remember what my character class is at some point in time. It's kind of bardish. There's something to do with spirits. I'm sure, rules aren't important in this game. Back to you, boss.
They truly aren't. They truly aren't, thanks to all of you methods. Hey, last and certainly not least, Ben, who are you? What do you do?
Hey, I am Ben, also known as Blast Powder on Twitch. I stream on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, 6:45 with Emily, which I don't know what side that is on.
Neither of the ones that you just did, because you're like
okay.
down here.
I'm playing Soul, and I am a human artificer.
We love that. Hey, thanks for reintroducing all your characters, because I think there's definitely some people in the chat that may not have tuned in for an episode before. And last and definitely least is myself. Hey, I'm Emily. I am the thank you, the occasional DM and player on the It's Fate's Group stream. Every Tuesday, I hang out over at the Law Rights. Sometimes Ham the DM lets me crash the Meeples and Dragons stream. And I too am in Castleton. In fact, I think you'll see me in tomorrow's episode of Castleton at 9 a.m. Hey, if you really want to mess with Promethean, you can donate magical items, boons, advantages to myself instead of him. Or you can just donate to sabotage him. Or if you...
do that. You encourage people to do that. It's so unkind. Here I was just about to demand that everyone watch you in Castleton tomorrow.
I haven't finished. I was going to say, alternatively, I know everyone likes to fuck with me. And if that's the case, donate to Promethean.
No, don't do that to either of our characters. Love and support their journey through this difficult time.
Yeah, I think Promethean and I will usually advocate for chaos at in any way, shape, or form. I think this is the first one where Promethean and I are both aligned in the please don't fuck with us. Please actually just
Like,
please actually just
survive
keep
the
us
thing.
alive.
Yeah.
We really want to survive for the yeah, please help us survive. Anyway.
See, the
Oh.
donations I have thought of making have not been about fucking with characters in that way, but trying to gear characters together.
Oh, see, that's perfectly Castleton. I love that.
Shipping relationships.
Yes. I can't say anything because my session's tomorrow. So
Looking forward to it. Bright and early. See you there.
I will be there, filled with anxiety. It'll be great. Hey, should we play some Dungeons and Dragons or some Dragons and Dungeons? Whichever way you prefer.
Don't see why not.
Excellent. Cool. Well, yeah, like I said, episode 8. Who would like to recap last session for us? I'm going to roll a dice.
Okay, so we got to a place that's a little bit more liberal than some of the places we've been to before in our effort to track down thornberries. Found out that it's pretty much being sold everywhere in wine. We know that Scarlett has been there before in some of the cage fighting / underground fight scenes. And so we're staying at hotels that her and the twins have previously stayed at. Acquired ourselves some Thornberry wine. Scarlett doesn't know what happened with the rest of the characters because she basically took her wine upstairs to try and see if she could connect with her subconscious about what is going on with her. But I believe that the boys had their own encounter downstairs.
Yeah.
Boy,
that was
specifically.
That was excellent. Yes, 100%. So where we left off, we are in Maluhia, 100%, and the very last thing that we encountered was Scarlett's vision, where you saw a mysterious figure that you felt very familiar towards, and you heard a name mentioned to you or ringing in your head. And that's kind of the last thing we left off with for you. The last thing we left off for downstairs crew is Marcus, your vision saw you seeing an old friend that you haven't seen in some time, running through a forest, a couple of different scenes, and eventually, would you like to finish what I'm about to say? Because you look really
Seeing a whole bunch of rocks with runes written on that previously Marcus knew about. So it's almost as if it is a jolt to his memory, time to revisit.
Yes, and it is her figure that you saw in a emerald green cloak. But where we're going to start this session is with you, Scarlett. You are sitting in a room upstairs with Astryn, and you both downed this glass of Thornberry wine. You are not sure, following your vision, how much time has passed, but it's weird because you remember the feeling of closing your eyes, but when everything kind of comes back into view, your eyes weren't ever closed. It was almost like they were clouded over, and everything kind of comes back into focus for you. You feel almost this weight to any movement you make. You feel heavier, you feel fatigued, and as you kind of inspect yourself, you feel that your skin is drenched in like this cold sweat. It feels like you are actively having to try to breathe, rather than it just being kind of a natural occurrence. And seconds after you've kind of come back to, you see Astryn just take like a huge like breath inwards and like very much recenter herself as well. She doesn't seem to have the cold sheen on her that you have, but she is incredibly pale as she kind of looks at you. It takes you a moment because your vision is still kind of blurry, But the second you do kind of take in your surroundings, you also notice that she has a blood nose, that she just like wipes on the back of her hand, and you can see that she's like got the shakes a little bit. She doesn't say anything. She just stands up and she begins to kind of pace backwards and forwards. What would you like to do?
I really think you should be sitting down. Do you want me to go get Jonan?
No. I'm fine.
I
I'm
think
good.
you should have someone check you out. You know, you're bleeding from your nose.
Oh, it's fine. It's all good. Are you okay?
I feel really. Is this what being exhausted feels like? I've never felt exhausted before. Like I felt hurt and tired, but not exhausted.
After long stints of travel, I've felt exhausted. I don't know if exhaustion is what I'm feeling right now. Hmm.
I have an idea, but as much as it kind of pains me given recent events, I am going to potentially need the help of someone else who hasn't had wine, just because I need someone who's at full attention at the moment.
They didn't all do it.
Well, I don't know. And Scarlett will sort of head downstairs, but it's would be visible to anyone who has been with her for a period of time to know she's always, like, even when she's tired, she's not physically exhausted. She's very always somehow full of energy, even when she's calm.
Yeah. You're
So-
still carrying yourself that way as well. Like, it's really just perceptionally to other people, you don't appear to be as exhausted as you are, but you feel it. It's like a literal weight on your shoulders.
So Scarlett will come back downstairs to where the others are. Okay, who had the wine and who didn't?
Astryn doesn't follow you, and she, the last you kind of see of her is she just takes a seat on the edge of one of the cots in the room, and just before you all see Scarlett come down in the meantime, Marcus, when you come to, similar thing, it's very much like your eyes are refocusing versus opening. To the rest of you, the time past would have been literally 1 minute. It has not been long at all since from when Marcus went into that catatonic state to now coming back to, and you can visibly see that he appears more present. It's been 1 minute tops. And Marcus, you don't feel heavy or cold sweat. You feel like you are still in some sort of a dream state. It's very weird. You've got like that airy fairy feeling in your head. And it's very much that thing when you first wake up and you've just maybe not slept the best. You similarly, and all of you would see this, knowing that Marcus took his drink first and Jonan followed. Jonan will also snap out of his vision, and he similarly, he appears to be short of breath, but that's kind of all the noticeable symptoms you see of him. What are you all doing just before Scarlett arrives?
So Marcus immediately reaches into his bag, because just to remind everybody else, we were in the middle of Wonderwall, there was a whole bunch of people roaming around, singing loudly, lots of swaying there. Marcus and Jonan kind of did this in a really rowdy bar, and think of it as a pretty heaving nightclub that was going on. Marcus doesn't pay attention to the noise, which is unusual for him. He immediately reaches into a bag that Valenda's seen him go for and pulls out this particular looking diary and immediately starts writing in it. So for those that are familiar from waking up from dreaming and writing their dreams out, that's what Marcus is doing. And what he's trying to do, DM, if at all possible, is recapture those stones that he saw with the markings, because he's seen stones before and he wants to capture them as if he's trying to remember exactly what the symbology was on those stones. So if there's anything possibly do as a roll, that will be amazing if that's 100%. Possible.
You're going to make just a straight intelligence roll for me. I'm going to get you to do it at disadvantage just because of the state you're in.
Yeah, absolutely fine.
I can slap him if that'll help.
You can certainly try.
That's fine.
Can I do that as well, but with guidance?
What, slapping with guidance? I mean, yeah, you can give him guidance. Absolutely.
I will give you guidance. I believe I'm with the two of them.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. We were monitoring the situation. I think you were doing like science experiments on the Thornberry juice.
Yeah.
You were attempting to, for sure. And you were also writing notes, like observation notes, I believe, of what exactly you saw them experience. To you, those notes that you would have made, Sol, would literally just be that someone was in some sort of a catatonic state. You wouldn't have noticed anything else.
In which case, I will. So, how does Marcus look? Is he just kind of droned out, or?
You can see that he's present because he's now scribbling in a journal. But like he has not paid attention to any of you yet.
I'll get up if possible to do this, and I'll put my arm on his shoulder and give him guidance for whatever he's. Just because I feel like he might need it.
No, you can add guidance to your roll, D.
And I'm going to use my tinkering ability. And we pull out like a small stick that looks like a stick that has calcium and lime in it. And it's like a torch almost, but like dim. And I just want to like, if he's unreactive to me, I want to kind of like look at his eyes and inspect them. Does he look like he's somewhere completely else, like he's on drugs, or?
I will... D, I'll grab your roll first, and then we'll find out what happens with that.
So, if you don't mind me leaning into what Sol's has done. So Marcus is literally kind of started scribbling furiously and started drawing around, and then suddenly Sol kind of lays his hand, which distracts him, and then looks up into this pulsing light, and basically it's kind of like you're writing with your opposite hand, so basically non-dominant hand, and the scribbling goes off there, and he's momentarily confused by this white blinding light that's come from him. So that was a total of 7.
7?
Yeah, disadvantage.
Look, the scratchings and markings on the walls were in a way that you were passing by them while following someone. You feel like you capture some of it quite well, but parts of it are still quite vague. And I will send you after the stream just a little something that you have accurately captured. In that small amount that you've accurately captured, you think, or you kind of feel as though there is a language in this symbol somewhere, but you're not sure what that language is. But yeah, you're still getting this light shot in your face. Belinda, what are you doing in the meantime while this is all happening?
Absolutely nothing. Just watching bemused at the entire thing. Finishing off a glass of non-psychoactive wine, munching on some nuts.
The
usual.
As soon as Marcus kind of realizes it is Soul putting this light in his eyes, with a speed that you don't normally see from Marcus, he grabs Soul's arm and says, "I need another glass immediately." Immediately.
I'll turn to Valenda, assuming he's heard this.
You're all standing together.
Did we have more at our disposal, or was it just the glasses that were poured?
You were holding a glass.
Oh.
Because you tried to make Soul drink it. As this glass is being presented towards Marcus is when you arrive, Scarlett. And you see Valenda is about to hand another glass over to Marcus.
I'll just whisper to Valenda, he's conscious. It's fine.
I can see that. And yeah, present the glass to Marcus.
Marcus, you might want to leave some time between. It really, you're risking some side effects. Astryn was bleeding from the nose and stuff. She's okay, but there's risks with having it, and I presume it would get riskier if you're taking two lots very close together.
I think with that, Valenda's going to just do a quick look around the room and see if anyone else is exhibiting any kind of properly detrimental side effects of having chugged down some of this stuff, perhaps.
Yeah, sweet. Make a perception roll for me.
Sure.
After Talera's said that, I'll...
Who's Talera?
Sorry, Scarlett. After Scarlett's mentioned this, I'll pull out a... No, I won't. I'll put one hand up and I'm going to unceremonially put two fingers on Marcus's pulse and just check it and just start counting.
Okay, you can make a medicine check for me. Belinda, what was your perception?
It was but a 12.
But a 12? You do see someone that has like a dark circle around their eye, like purple, bruised, doesn't look good, and then you see that it is two people like rough and tumbling with each other. But aside from that, you don't see anyone that's actively like looking like they're drinking the wine and having any kind of a reaction to it. In fact, a lot of people at this point aren't necessarily sitting down drinking the wine. There's a lot of beer that's and ale in general that's kind of being passed around. Particularly now the sounds of Wonderwall have died out and another song is playing in its place.
Okay.
Okay, so Soul, Valenda, you're the two that haven't consumed. I have a favour to ask. My preference is that it is Valenda because he's already seen me naked. But I know that you're like all doctory and stuff and you can try and be professional about it too. But I need someone to come back upstairs. I just need to try something and I need someone to help me with it.
I'll still have my finger on Marcus's pulse counting.
With that, Marcus, aside from what I can describe from the side effects of the Thornberry, how do you think Marcus's pulse would be in this moment?
It is very rapid, very, very rapid. Almost as if someone has come out of a race. That kind of kind of hammering through.
Yeah. You would feel that. Every now and again, there is like almost a double beat that happens.
I'll say to Scarlett then, with the rhythm that I'm getting here, it is possible the bloody nose, if not worse, could happen. if you consume too much of this at once.
I'll come with you, Scarlett. And Valinda will put the glass on like the closest table to the group of them, but we'll say to Marcus, do not drink from that until we've had a chance to establish what's happening here.
How close is Scarlett to the table?
She would be with you unless you have any reason to not be, Scarlett.
No, she'd be close enough that the whole place isn't hearing her talk about people having seen her naked.
Jonan is also there.
Yeah. Don't take this the wrong way, but can I come upstairs and consume that, pointing to the glass, which he's now holding in the other hand? If you think there's something wrong here. I can do it outside, but I just want to be near.
Well, do you want to sit in the room with Astryn and then I can go in your room or something?
Whatever works at this point in time. And you can see Marcus is incredibly desperate to drink this wine again.
For me, it's more of a space thing as well. I think I know how to make the wings come out now. So I need space and I need someone who can study them while they're there because I can't really see it on my back.
Toss Valinda Marcus's key just offhandedly and start making her way up towards the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Let's go.
In which case, yeah, I'll follow suit.
Jonan will not follow. He will stay downstairs. And he just takes a seat at the table that you were all sitting at. You all head upstairs. Where are you all going? Are you staying together or separating?
Valinda will just follow Scarlett, I guess.
Well, she's got Marcus's key, so she'll go in Marcus's room.
Mm-hmm.
But the room that Scarlett and Astryn is staying in is unlocked, so they'll go in there.
Did you want me to check in with Astryn?
I mean, she's fine, but I would keep watch over Marcus. While
you hear this, by the way, Marcus.
Yeah.
Well, he has the second glass in case anything goes wrong.
Yeah. So as we leave, I'll pick up what I had on the table that I was testing, just to make sure I haven't left it there, obviously.
What was that? Sorry?
I'll pick up off of the table when we leave to go upstairs what I was testing.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's not just sitting there.
Yeah, well, I believe you actually also had your own glass. I think you were all poured a glass. It was just that only one of you drank it. So yeah, you would have your own glass as well.
Did I? Yeah,
that's right. It's in the vial.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. So you're going into Astryn's room. Scarlett and Valinda, you're going into Marcus's room. Marcus, are you also going into Astryn's room?
Yes, absolutely. So, kind of open the door, nod Astryn and say, "Good evening. I'm just going to take a chair for a moment. Put out the diary, and then swap from a quill to like a charcoal pencil, and then lay like 4 of them out, and then grab one in the right hand and with the left hand, nod at her, and then just bottoms up."
Yeah, cool. Okay. As you kind of enter the room and say that to Astryn, she does not talk to you. She just looks over at you, and then she appears to be looking out a window and does not really acknowledge that you're there. Sol, you see this as well, Marcus, sitting down and bottoms upping. Before we go there, we will go across to the other room. You make your way into Marcus's room. This is a much smaller room, and is just a single bed in here. But it is spacious enough that you feel like if your wings did pop, then you would be fine. What are you two doing?
So Scarlett will basically be like a sit here, and then Scarlett will like sit on the floor. So she'll sort of indicate to Valinda to sit behind her, and she'll pick the biggest spot on the floor she can.
Mm-hmm.
Valinda has been sat on chairs by many beautiful women who will comply and do so.
And then, you know, she'll remove her top because she doesn't know how this wing thing works, given this is the first time it's potentially happened on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll kind of, you can tell she's trying to sort of center herself. So she's like doing some breathing, some relaxing, and then she's like closing her eyes. The breathing's getting slower, and then you just hear her, like in her mind, you don't know that she's imagining almost pressing foreheads with the woman in the middle, so that their eyes are directly looking into each other, and she'll just whisper the name Marisol, and her wings will come out.
And the name was whispered out loud?
Yep.
Okay.
So basically it's a case of Valinda now has she doesn't know it's a minute, she just doesn't know how these work yet, to study whether they're physical, how are they actually coming out of her back, how did they appear, like everything that she can't see herself.
Yeah.
So that he can let her know how these work. Like, do the feathers actually feel real, or are they incorporeal?
And I think as soon as those wings appear, then Valinda will stand up out of the chair and will circle Scarlet and establish the physical traits of these things. So I guess Tabby,
You'll make an investigation check first for me,
wow,
please.
incredible. It's an 18.
Just purely for the actual the appearing part of the wings.
Yeah. Okay. So 18 on the die for 21.
Yeah, cool. It is very, even with that roll, hard to establish whether it is of magical nature or whether it is physical. And it's not that you aren't seeing it, it's that it's so real when you see it that if it was magical, it is incredibly powerful magic.
Okay.
It is like they have just grown straight from her shoulder blades. But for the description of the wings, Tammy, would you like to describe your wings for me?
So they are almost white in some parts, and then sort of fade into like a silvery appearance in that sort of luminescent white, almost like there's silver glitter or luminescence purling through the feathers themselves. And then as they go further up closer to the top, the more silver they become.
Okay. So I think Valinda will explain that, but then he will kind of very gently as well just pass a hand over the feathers and establish what they feel like.
They feel like literal feathers, but incredibly soft and lighter than the average feather.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like this, like it doesn't feel like Scarlet's now like weighed down by these wings. They are like they're part of her.
Scarlet, I've never seen anything like this.
Neither have I. I don't know what it is. The wine gave me an idea of how to make them work. And then, of course, they'll disappear after a minute.
It's incredible. How does it feel?
Well, I don't even really notice them. Like, they're not heavy. They don't feel like I've going extra body bits or anything.
And the word you spoke? Marisol. What is this?
That was the word that was in the vision with the wine. There was a woman and she sprouted wings and flew. And the word was Marisol, and I think that's her name. Because I'm pretty sure I know where she is in my family line. But then with the other stuff that I saw in there, I mean, I know I'm related to her, but then the family photo, I wasn't in the family photo anymore. I was with her. So then does that mean that we have the same lineage, or does that mean that I'm actually not part of my actual family? I'm part of hers. I don't know.
Sounds like you haven't gleaned enough from your vision to understand that.
It's more than I had before. But I'm not going to go and just down more to find out the answers. At least I've got a direction to talk to family about to find out more.
At which point Valenda will recall to look in Marcus's eyes, asking for another drink. Scarlett, get dressed. We should check in on Marcus.
And she'll put her shirt back on and then head back over the room.
Yeah, so as you, it takes you a couple of moments, obviously, to get yourself ready and head across the hall. In the meantime, back in the other room, Marcus, you have just downed this drink. Are you doing what you did last time where you just kind of went with it? Or are you...
So Marcus's...
What are you doing?
Marcus's whole theory is this isn't a hallucinogenic in any way, shape or form. What it is it's just picking up of old memories and kind of exacerbate them to a certain bit. So this is the whole piece where he believes that what's been shown to him is either latent memories or things he's missed to kind of cognitively spark something that's important to him. So he's trying to go back to the scene. So what Marcus is desperately trying to do is he's made etchings of the stones where he saw Briley disappear from beforehand, and he wants to work out if the visions he's seeing are exactly the same or somehow subtly different, and that's why he's desperately trying to draw down and recapture what he's seen. That's why he's drinking it for a second time, because he's failed the first time.
Okay. May I get you to make another wisdom saving throw, please?
Sure. Technically, I'm supposed to be quite good at these. Let's give that a go. Wisdom saving throw. Ooh. And that one is a rather tainted 20.
Ooh.
Okay, excellent. You similarly to before, it feels the exact same. It feels like you're present and then you've drifted off. While this is all happening as well, Sol, I'll just get you to what are you doing? Are you watching Marcus or no?
Yeah, well, I knew from the conversation below Marcus wanted to try it again. I'd not checked in on Astryn.
Astryn? Yeah, there you go.
During the conversation, I'll keep an eye on Marcus because he's my beloved companion. And but I will check in on Astryn as well. She's sitting out. Like when we enter, is she just not even paid attention to us? Is it like
She looked over and acknowledged you both, but didn't
Right.
say anything and just went back to her own business.
I'll just quickly pass by bedside manner. How are you feeling? I heard your nose had a bloody nose.
We'll come to that in a second because I just want to visit this vision really quick. This time, Marcus, you are willing and picturing everything that you saw vividly in your last vision. And it feels so close to you, and then it just slips away. And instead, you are in a completely different setting. This time, when your eyes focus, you are in a place you've never been before. You are in a large cavernous room. And as you kind of look around, you aren't even really sure where you are, but you do feel a cool breeze on your person, essentially. So not the climate that you're currently in, and it doesn't feel like the climate of the previous place that you visited. It also feels just darker, and as you look around, you can't see any kind of pockets of light or any hints of sunlight anyway. It feels like you are in like a cave essentially. And you catch, you hear the laugh of Briley, and it kind of echoes in this cabin. And it feels like it just keeps going and keeps going. And as you kind of move forward, this time when you see this emerald green cloak, it's not your friend that's standing in it, but it's a figure that you've never seen before either. It is a gaunt, pale figure. From here, you can't really make out the color of their eyes, but it feels ominous, and it feels like when this figure looks around at you, they have their hood up over their head. It feels like they are looking straight fucking through you, like not even acknowledging who you are, but they can see into your soul, is how you feel. And then as you stand there, it turns into this almost standoff. Neither of you move towards the other. A moment passes. Ominous silence too, like very, very much like dead air. A second moment passes. A third moment passes. And then you see your friend Briley over the right shoulder of this figure, just standing there, staring back at you. And then you come to again. And that's when Valenda and Scarlet, you arrive. In the meantime, Soul, Astryn has basically said to you, I'm fine. I'm just processing. A minute has passed.
I'm sorry to pry, but what exactly might it be that you're processing? Are you feeling ill, or?
She stands up off like the edge of this bed, and she like moves to the other side of the room, and she says, look, I don't really know you very well, and I understand that your intention is not to be disrespectful or rude, but I don't want to tell you I don't know you.
No, that's fine. If you don't want to, then I will abide by your wishes. But let me know if you need a hand, yes?
If I am unwell, you will all know about it. Thank you.
And I'll turn to Marcus.
Astryn is also at this point staring at Marcus. You all see the door open. Marcus, depending on what you're doing, you would or wouldn't see everyone enter, depending on where you're kind of at. Valenda and Scarlet, what are you two doing? As you kind of walk in and you see, like, you actively see Marcus come to. Actually, Marcus, this time when you've come to, you do have that heavy feeling on your shoulders and that cold sweat sheen. Your heart is fucking racing.
Yeah. No nosebleed or signs of impending death, though, right?
No.
In which case, Valenda will relax visibly somewhat. Yeah, he's fine.
The second that he hears Valenda's voice, minor illusion, the face and the figure in the room at full height. So it's a 5x5. So literally kind of like projecting exactly what Marcus saw in the vision. So the face, the hood, the whole colour thing, just literally this spectral image appears immediately. And Marcus is kind of, it's like art school again, where he's immediately sketching down what he's got in his head. But it's to the entire room.
Valenda, you immediately know who this is. You don't know who they are, but you know who they are.
Wow, wait, what? Okay. Can we be a bit more? As in, I know.
So you remember
not the specific person, or I know the specific person?
You don't know the name or the origin of this person, but you do. It flashes you back to a moment in the mines.
Yeah.
Where you saw this exact figure.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mm.
Okay, so not connected with the other stuff though. That's all right.
Marcus's vision of this person, you don't see a definitive eye color. You would remember that this person's eyes are a terrible, like, hazel green color, but not like in a nice way. It feels very sickly, and the way that this minor illusion, which I would assume is exactly how you would have seen it in the vision, the way that this minor illusion is even looking now in your direction or standing, still, you remember when this figure looked at you this way, and when they looked at you this way, you couldn't really place it, but the figure recognized you. And so this feels very familiar.
Who is this, Marcus?
And in that distracted kind of, someone's desperately trying to just capture everything in there. It's the person that most likely has Briley Dubois. I don't know how I've seen him before, but this figure is wrapped up in the adoption of my friend Briley. And Marcus is literally... Scarlet put her wings away.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's okay. It was okay. But
we would have spent the wing time examining.
No, it's okay. Even if you two were, dressed up in fireworks, Marcus wouldn't be paying any attention. It's just that kind of scene of him just furiously scribbling and just trying to capture the image in front of him, and he's kind of offhandedly answering any questions. But he's getting the figure to slowly rotate. Valenda. So it's literally the point of view that he was at is kind of just slowly getting to rotate as if it's his Marcus's actual vision, because I can't 3D render him fully, but it's just the vision he's got, and it's that slowly
because you're taking and because you're taking this amount of time to do it, if you're drawing or writing this down, you can capture without any checks a pretty fucking accurate version of this.
Yep, and it's in that same book that Valenda's seen come out right back at the start when we were at the festival. Yeah.
And Briley?
She's the friend I lost, dear boy, my orphan childhood friend that I lost so long ago, and have been searching for so furiously throughout these lands. His nose is so difficult to capture.
Marcus, I've seen this person before.
I'm going to make a Constitution saving throw to see if I drop my spell, because that's not what I was expecting to hear. Let's see. Let's roll the chonk.
Roll the chonk.
The chonk likes me tonight. So there's a stuttering of image, and Marcus just spins around chest like, how is that possible? Valenda.
Briefly, in Namrita, in the mines, I had a chance encounter with this individual. I cannot tell you anything more than where I sighted them. I know nothing more. But if you're searching for them, if they have something to do with your missing friend, that would be a good place to start.
And my hypothesis at this moment is this wine isn't hallucinogenic. It's basically allowing you to remember memories. But I've never been to this place, and again, there's a kind of snapping of Marcus's fingers, and the background is kind of almost filled in of the kind of cavernous kind of spot to kind of overlay the protection, so the image kind of shrinks a bit and it becomes the figure and then the kind of caverns around it. It's like I've read an awful lot and understand the mind, but I've never seen this level of detail, so it's vexing me somewhat that I can see this place.
Valenda, if you look at when this vision changes, it's almost like what Marcus has seen. You don't know this to be fact, but what it feels like is it was more like Marcus was kind of seeing something you've seen before. That is like the exact spot from the mines where you encountered this figure.
Okay.
And Marcus, you can see just Marcus kind of sketching the things down, but he's kind of trying to not look at Valenda too much and just try and capture the thing before the memory fades. But there's definitely a draw between wanting to ask more and finish off the sketch. And it'll take however long, DM. So you tell me and let the scene go on.
No, you can take as long as you want to do this, and like if you're just repopping minor illusion, it will take you maybe to accurately capture it as close to 3D rendering as you can. Probably take you about 10 minutes.
So Marcus is a man lost in just trying to capture as much detail as possible, which may or may not make Valenda super uncomfortable. No idea. But that's not the intent. It's literally there's just this level of image just up on the wall. Marcus was sitting facing away from the door, so everybody was to the back as they were coming through. So it's almost like he's looking at, let's say, there's a fireplace or just looking at a space.
Wall, like?
Yeah, it's kind of like using the wall. So it was sitting down, so there's nothing else. There's a kind of focal point, and given that
he's not drawing on the wall, he's just projecting the minor illusion onto it.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Graffiti.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love graffiti. I think to Sol, Valenda might turn and say, Scarlet seems to have acquired from the visions induced by the Thornberry here something quite important to her. It would seem our friend has done the same. Can't say it's not tempting.
Mine's not memories. I saw things that couldn't have been memories. Like, I know this person exists. I've never actually met this person. And then there were some things with the photos. Like, that's not memory. That's my family as they currently are, but me not in the photo with them.
Valenda will point at the illusion. That, I suspect, is not Marcus's memory.
Just out of interest, is this loud enough for Marcus to hear?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does Marcus
Unless you specify.
It's like Packed Sunday Night all over again.
Yeah. Interesting. And just gathering what you just said, Scarlett, because I think I saw you shake your head when Marcus said that he was remembering something, or as opposed to you're seeing something different that hasn't happened, right?
Mm.
Yeah. I would be interested to see what this is in this drug, which is what I started with. It is, to be honest, more likely it's possible that, unless you want me to make a check, DM.
You can make any assumption you want. If you want to check whether it's fact, then I can tell you what to roll.
So
I've heard of elixirs, medicinals that have brought memories of old back to one's mind, but new ones are different.
Well, I think there's something in common. Okay, so I'm not book smart, so I could be very wrong. Like, you've got more experience than me with this.
I'm not questioning what you've seen.
No. It's more we both have, for want of a better term, a mystery that we wanted solved. Like, for me, it's about what's going on with me and why and where it comes from. For Marcus, it's about what happened to his friend, who, by the way, why are we looking for Thornberries if his friend's abducted? We should be doing that.
Would one say a desire?
Yes, it's something that it's a giant question that's plaguing us, and these are ways towards an answer. But having said
Perhaps,
that,
do you think...
I know how shit I felt after having it. I saw Astryn's nosebleed. Like, if you're going to have this, please be careful. Like, it's not something I'm going to necessarily do again. I didn't like feeling how I felt afterwards. That's because I usually feel really good. So, feeling a bit shit, not cool. But, it gave me a thing to kind of explore. It gave me a lead.
2 things, DM. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, you asked DM first. I'll go second.
So first, I think Valinda wants to assess if there's any lingering kind of after effects of having consumed this stuff. So more from that kind of assassin knowledge of poisons, I guess, perspective, whether they're disadvantaged in any way after having consumed it.
Okay. Are you just planning on monitoring that for the next?
Just a rough assessment for his own purposes. He's essentially
Now
trying to
or?
establish, now. So he wants to
Okay.
establish if he's going to have it, but he will not do that if there seems to be any kind of after effects of it.
I would say, given things that the characters have done together and the fact that he was just inspecting her wings and stuff like that, he would be able to tell that Scarlet is somewhat more exhausted, despite the fact that she only drank wine.
Yeah.
Instead of going out for a major fight. And her skin would have still had that sort of clammy feeling.
Yeah. Okay. And then
Marcus,
the more obvious. Sorry, go.
Yeah. No, yeah. So for Marcus, who has now had 2 drinks of this Thornberry wine, I'll get you to make, just because that's going to be your best source, and I feel like you would know that. And I'll get you to make. You can make an Arcana or a Medicine or a Perception.
Okay. I'll.
Come on, stabby stab rogue.
Sure. That's a 19 on
Hey,
the
What did you
die
roll
for
for?
perception. So 20, 21, 22.
Looking at Scarlet, you are very aware that she holds herself quite well. And she doesn't seem to kind of have any lapse in her posture or anything like that. You do see that she does look clammy, and you would have seen this while you're inspecting the wings as well. She's like clammy. And but aside from that, she's seems fine. Astryn, you can kind of see, like, when someone wipes blood off their face and it's kind of like still kind of there a little bit. You can see that. You do with that roll notice that she has like trembling. She hasn't mentioned or acknowledged this, but she's just trembling consistently.
Yeah. So the
For
second thing.
Marcus,
Oh, sorry. Go.
I'm sorry, and for Marcus specifically, you would see he looks like, again, he's someone who presents himself quite well. You would see that there's more of a bit of a slump in his posture. Again, this same clamminess. But he's sitting with his back to you. So that's kind of all you notice.
Yeah. The second thing is Astryn. With every ounce of charm that he can muster. Astryn, you've been very quiet. Are you well? If you don't mind sharing, what did you see in your vision?
Make a persuasion check for me, please.
Jointly. 18 again! 19, 20, 21.
She she looks at you and she says, "I'm fine. It's just, it was very intense. It wasn't necessarily the vision. It was just that it was intense. It didn't feel nice. I didn't like the feeling of being out of control. But nothing wild to report. Aside from the fact that I saw, it looked like I was traveling with the troop, and it looked like I had quite a fall and an injury that maybe I wouldn't necessarily recover from."
And this isn't something you've experienced before? Not a memory?
In our line of work, we experience accidents here and there. we're professionals, but it happens. But not this specific one, no.
Okay.
This is very overwhelming.
That's fair. If you need space, I'm happy for us all to move to another room. Is that fine with everyone? I think
It's fine.
I wouldn't mind a brief little taste of this for myself.
Did you want to? I mean, have a lie down on the bed if you want. Like if you, I don't know, because we're kind of standing around here. Marcus is like, at the chair and everything, and it's kind of all the furniture. So instead of standing around, I recommend you at least sit, if not lie down on the bed when you take it.
Yeah, I don't think we've got any more currently with us, so we'd have to go down and actually grab some. Yeah, so
I
Sol,
put mine in a test tube. So
You have yours in a test tube, yes.
yeah.
Dude, well, I can go down and I can just like buy some.
It's a great shout.
In
Is
a
this
slightly
something?
distracted tone, Marcus kind of again still sketching away. I think it's best if we go to the source. Whatever they've done to dilute whatever's in this thing in the first place, Belinda, I think we should go to the source immediately and find out where this is coming from, what this is.
absolutely agree.
Well, that's why I was trying to separate the ingredients.
Scarlet there was huffing and puffing after having consumed it. Poor Astryn seems to be bleeding. I'm not going to test it from the source, so I very much would like a glass before we do so.
Okay, well, you stay here. I'll just pop down and grab some because, I can easily earn the money back. That's fine. So she'll go downstairs and was it a gold piece of glass, was it?
Mm-hmm. You see Wex standing behind the bar. He is very much looking like someone that is kind of getting it's late in the night at this point in time. Because it was already getting on, and after kind of you've gone through all of this, it is getting on. It looks like he's closing down for the night, but he does stop and look at you, and he goes, "Can I get you something?"
Just one more glass and then I'll leave you alone for the night. And I can try and make you some money tomorrow night, potentially, or I'll go in fights before I leave town. Probably tomorrow night. I've got stuff to do during the day. But, one more glass before bed.
A glass of what, sorry?
The Thornberry wine.
The Thornberry wine?
The wine that we had before.
We don't serve that here.
What are you talking about? You just gave it to us earlier.
No.
What's going on? Is there someone here that you can't serve it to us because there's someone here?
Make an insight check for me.
Oh, goodness.
Ben, if you need to run away for a moment, go for
it. Terrible. Below 10, but thankfully not a 1.
He appears to be completely telling the truth. And in fact, it's to a point where he looks very concerned about what you're saying.
So we got wine from you earlier tonight. Correct.
No.
What's going on? You're doing my head in.
I am.
Are you pranking me? Are you like, is someone going to jump in and go, I got you, or something?
No, I am getting paid and I am closing the bar. That's what's going on here.
This is freaking weird. Okay. That's all right. Just means that I don't have to make money for you to replace the wine we got earlier because apparently you didn't give us any, even though we've consumed it.
Okay.
And she'll go back upstairs and it'll be like, okay, guys, the weirdest shit is happening.
Wex looks so confused, by the way. Like, very much looks so confused. Like, starts to rush closing down the bar and, like, yeah, is making haste now.
Okay, so weirdest shit. Wex is saying that we haven't gotten any wine from him and he doesn't sell any of the wine. And we never bought any tonight. I mean, technically we didn't buy it because we won the thing. But anyway, so he's claiming to have no knowledge of it and that he never gave us wine. So he doesn't know what it is we've consumed.
Interesting.
So either Wex is really fucking pulling my leg and doing a really good job of it, which is entirely possible because paying attention is not necessarily the best thing unless I'm being paid for it. But then there is the possibility of, was it really fucking Wex? Was someone else there because they knew we were after the wine?
Particular level of mystery inclines me to not have any kind of drink while we stay here. And I think I'll stick with my original plan. Perhaps if there is any in the bar, I can pilfer some a little bit later.
If we
But-
get it from the source at well, I mean, we can always get it while we're there tomorrow anyway, because I can just buy a bottle if I'm going in as myself. But without that, like if we're getting something that's more concentrated, we can dilute it with other wine.
Sure. Ravens Ridge Brewery, I believe it was.
No.
Yeah? No?
No.
No?
No,
Was it not? Was it?
Ravens Ridge is the people that we passed along the way who had the big
Yeah.
and
It was
gave you-
close though. Not
Damn
really. But do you know what? I just wanted to make you feel better because you look sad.
I did look sad. What is it? Where's the brewery in my notes? Oh, no, it's the Ravens Nook here. Yeah, okay. The Thornberry Brewery, right. Yes, as Marcus said, as you've pointed out, we'll proceed to the brewery in the morning then.
Which means I also have to. It'll take me longer to get ready because of all the pompous shit that you have to do to yourself to. Yeah, like just the stuff, like when we went and met. It frustrates me, but I'll do it anyway. And she'll like start getting like the dress and everything out because it will need to hang up overnight so that the creases fall out and all that kind of stuff. So that she can, because she knows that she has to go as Scarlet Bell to the brewery the next morning as per the plan.
As per the plan.
As per the plan.
Wait, what was the plan?
But, you know,
What was the plan?
she's using her family's merchant reputation to look at whether or not she's a prospective investor in the wine.
Yes.
Which means that she has to kind of get dolled up a la Bridgerton vibes.
Marcus,
What are you doing at this point? You finished your drawing.
Marcus finishes the sketching and then carefully puts some paper in between not to smudge the drawings and is being very careful. Then kind of almost snaps back to realizing there's other things going on the room. Kind of looks around, kind of somewhat confusedly that there are more people in the room properly at this point in time. It's kind of like that kind of re-registering bit of kind of waking up from kind of like a kind of dream moment.
Yeah.
I heard something about Wex and saying that he didn't have anything downstairs.
If Belinda's sleeping in your room, he can fill you in. But what I want to know is, why are we looking after Thornberries? Like, if you've had a friend that's been abducted, why the hell aren't we looking for them? Like, that's a bit more important than finding where the Thornberries
It was clues, my dear lady. I'd run out of clues, and this is why I turned up at the festival to see if I could find some more clues. And Marcus flips the large. He's got this well bound, almost diary type size piece, which is probably about A5 size and shape, and it's very well robust and secure. And he kind of starts flipping through pages, and there's all these kind of weird markings and maps and scribblings. It's almost like a scrapbook to a certain point with annotated notes put across there. I lost Briley and the path to Briley, and I was looking for someone at the Ember Festival, but I found nothing. So I do what I normally do, which is distract my mind by doing other things, so ideas come to me, because that's how I work. I write down these thoughts, and this is why I'm fascinated with this wine. Is it something that allowed me to join some dots I wasn't doing, or is it giving me the space that I haven't been able to give myself previously? And that's why I was so desperate to see if the symbols I just saw. But I don't understand this bit. The emaciated individual in the mind that Valenda's met. That's you never told me about him, Valenda.
I have a really quick question for you, Dee. When you're flipping through this book, are you doing it intentionally to show people through it?
It's kind of like it's more an open kind of book flick at this point on.
I'm glad you asked that. I was wondering if I could see if I notice any of those symbols.
Before that, I have a specific question for you, Dee.
Sure.
Of the things that we have spoken about pre-campaign,
sure,
do the newspaper clipping or the map come up as you flick through?
Let's have fate decide, and if Promethean could roll a squashy dice me, please. And I think it's not an even here, so odd it does.
Whoa. 17 is in fact odd.
It does indeed then.
Okay. Can I get Promethean, you to roll a perception check, please?
That's okay. 13.
You notice. You only notice one thing in the book that stands out to you as Marcus is flicking through it, and that is a map of Damata, same as any map you would have seen of Damata, and it's marked with some red crosses. And at least one of these red crosses falls within Kaivala.
Mm-hmm.
And of where that is pinpointed is the exact location to one of the hideouts, per se, of the Cord's Edge.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, Marcus, I've travelled only a little bit, but the twins have travelled all over. If you want them to look at the map for ideas of things, I mean, the rest of the journal is pretty personal, but like the map, they might be able to identify some stuff for you.
The journal for me is a way to keep ideas rather than personal ones. I've got and Marcus pulls out yet another book from a book of a book, where it's like I keep other details here, hence the padlock. Puts it back into his jacket.
It's like the dolls that have dolls, but it's just journals inside journals.
Marcus will finally look at the, because there's only one of the twins here, right?
And hydrate, please.
Oh,
yes, and Astryn.
Astryn, yes.
And Sol wanted to perceive the book also, right?
Yeah, can you also, Sol, roll me a perception check, please? And Tammy, you're welcome to do the same if you're looking out for anything in particular in this book.
No. I'm going to swap dice.
Do you want mine? Because
Dirty.
the exception of that last one's been doing real good.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You see this map also. You don't recognize the locations or their significance, but you can pinpoint that there is one in Kaivala. There's a couple in Ascendus. There's one in Maluhia. And there's also, that's it.
Ascendus. I'd probably. So sorry, I saw markings on a map in regards to Ascendus and Malika.
And also Kaivala. The other thing you would notice is the symbols. The symbols themselves are nothing you recognize immediately, and they're nothing like anything you've seen before. I'll get you to make an intelligence check for me, please.
Yeah. 11. 16.
These symbols all have one specific thing in common, and that is that, and I don't mean the language common, just in common. And it's that they have, each symbol has what looks to be actual written text weaved within them. But the language you can't make out. It is not one you recognize.
But it's more of a repetition that I've seen than more so understanding what it is.
Correct.
Yeah,
and
okay.
it's not the same thing on every symbol.
Right. Okay.
Like there is, you'd see a couple that are the same, but yeah.
I mean, if he's clicking through, then I'm not going to interrupt him and be like, this is a repetition here.
Yeah, Scarlett. So I'm probably going to leave that to morning because it does look like she's rather drained, and I understand why. And gestured back to the glass.
Well, considering both of us had quite personal things witnessed, I can understand why she would need time to process hers as well. There's part of mine that I very, very much cannot fully process at this point of time, that I'm just kind of putting in a box in the back of my mind until I can have further conversations with other people I know for what it means. But hey, at least I know how to make my wings work now. They just don't seem to work for very long.
Perhaps we can capitalize on that at some point.
I think ultimately...
if that's something that you want.
I think the most benefit would be during non-exhibition fights. Like, I don't want people finding out that I have them, and it's not something that's common. I've never even heard of it really, so I don't want people finding out, and then especially some areas here, well, not here, but some areas in the world would fucking hunt me down for that. So, I don't think that in my daily living of fighting they should make an appearance. But I think definitely there's an advantage strategy-wise if we're doing a bit more survival combat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I already move around the field pretty quick when I'm doing it like that, so it just gives me kind of another dimension to move in.
You're not aware of anybody else that may have this ability?
So I think someone in my family does, but they're not alive anymore. Well, my vision told me that they might have the answers, but yeah, not alive anymore. So,
I mean, after what we've experienced here today with Marcus, are we so sure that they are not alive?
well, that's what I've got to find out. And then I've got to find out if I actually am my parents' child or if I'm actually her child. Or is it just this weird ass shit that we've got in common and that's why I was with her and not in my family photo anymore? I don't know.
Might be slightly morbid, but the person that you're associated with, are they no longer with us? Is there a place that they rest?
That's what I've got to find out.
Right.
I mean, it is, but okay, so like it's my mother's sister.
And there's no, again, forgive me, no tomb to her?
She doesn't really get talked about in the family because she was different and a bit of a, well, not black sheep as in she didn't get herself into trouble, but there was enough different about her that the family sort of pushed her off to the side and doesn't talk about her anymore. And so when she died, it was easier not to talk about her. So she existed, she died. I don't know how, and I don't know where she is laid to rest.
Right. So you don't have a family place that you
She would not be
lay your
family.
right. All right then. Well,
And that
the
could be
journey
the
will
other
continue.
reason why I wasn't in the photo, is it could be that when they find out, I might not be with the rest of the family either.
Well, then that secret could be kept between the 5 of us? Is it that saw this?
There's
Sorry, the
6.
DM question is 6. 6, I don't know. The 6 of us.
Because I'm not going to hide it from Jonan. Even though he didn't come up, I'm not going to hide. He knows shit about my family anyway. He'll get it.
And Marcus, how are you feeling?
Marcus has uncharacteristically and very quietly left the room during this conversation.
Incredible.
Good seeing you.
So
Marcus.
has Belinda. As soon as family started being mentioned, Belinda has snuck out of the room also with a stealth roll of 23.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So, actually, yeah, there's only 3 of you in the room.
Yeah, myself, Scarlett, and Astryn, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's she faring?
She is listening, but not contributing.
I'll just give her an eye. I don't know if
Did
I
you
can-
just pull
if
it
I
out
can-
of your skull?
No, if I can persuade with an eye, like a look, like, hey, what's your thoughts on this? What's going on?
She looks between the 2 of you and she says, I think that is enough entertainment for this evening. I would like to go to bed.
Here, perhaps you should take this before your bed and let me know how this goes. And I'll give her 2 things. A potion of healing.
Mhm.
One of the ones that I learned to make, just 1d4 with no plus, I think.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna give her a potion just for the theme, but I'm gonna cast Absorb Elements on her.
Okay. What does absorb elements do?
It will allow her to absorb any damage from an element that has been bestowed upon her, and she can use that as an attack back at a
How long does
1d6
that
roll. Great question. Didn't know this one round.
You do it.
Yeah.
She doesn't take either of the potions in front of you. So yeah, she just doesn't take either of them, and she says, thank you. I am feeling okay. I'm just tired. I will keep these though. They might come in handy.
All right then. I'll bid you farewell.
Good night. This is my room. Do you have
As in,
your
yes,
own?
I will be leaving.
Okay.
He's sharing with Jonan.
Yes. Enjoy. Goodbye. She just looks at you
Is there
like,
any food in the area?
in this room?
Yeah.
No.
All right. I'll walk out then.
He came for the snacks.
Yeah.
Once Sol exits, Astryn finds her way to her bed. Scarlett's staying in this room also from memory.
Yeah.
And she just quietly takes off her armor, climbs into bed, rolls over, leaves the potions on the bedside table. Marcus, you are first to sneak out of the room. Oh, actually, no, fuck it. You can both roll initiative. Who goes out first?
Sure.
Initiative.
Me, 18. 22.
Wow. Okay, yeah. Valinda, you actually, it's almost like you both have the same thought, but neither of you communicate it, and you're just a bit quicker, Valinda. What are you doing? Are you going straight to your room? Are you going elsewhere?
Oh, hell no. No, Valinda is going to tail Wex for the rest of the evening.
Are you going to sleep at all?
He'll catch 4 hours at the
Cool.
meditation at the end of the day.
Excellent. Good to know. Marcus, what are you doing?
Marcus is cast invisibility and is going to search for the bottles downstairs.
Okay,
Ooh.
excellent. You can. That's funny. You can roll investigation for me. Valinda, you can roll. You're tailing him for the rest of the evening. You can roll an insight check, but also a perception check, please.
Sure. Insight 17, 20, dirty 20. And perception it was? 15.
Yeah, cool. What you note, and this is convenient for you, Marcus, is Wex wipes down the bar. He puts all the tables up on top of the chairs. He wakes up like someone that's fallen asleep in one of the booths in the corner near where the bard was playing Wonderwall. And offers a room. When the gentleman does not take it, he kicks him out of the bar. He generally tidies up. He brushes his teeth. He puts on this adorable little nightcap and goes to bed.
Just in the same building.
Yeah, he lives on site. And like to get there, you kind of go through the kitchen and then into this little back room. This like living space is not the greatest. It's very small. If you're going to follow him into the room or like stand outside, you wouldn't if you glance in there, because you're sneaky enough, you're fine. You don't think you would be able to stand in the room all night. It would be a matter of like peering in. It is very much like it would end basically where this door ends to my window. It's very small and narrow.
Yeah. And that'll have that'll have left the bar unattended, yeah.
Yes, correct. Which Marcus will start going through, and you, I assume, are going to do the same.
Correct, and Valinda, I feel like, will probably just run directly into the invisible Marcus.
Excellent. You can also make an investigation check. What was your investigation check, Marcus?
26.
Fucking hell.
Jesus.
Yeah, wow. You're so focused.
I'm looking so specifically for the bottle that came out, where it came from, The glassware that was particularly used. I'm just looking for that whole presentation piece, so where it came from, that whole piece. Because Weck's saying, none of this happened. Is we saw the bottle go up, we saw the glasses come out, know where that came from, or believe I know where it came from, and that's the whole kind of drive.
So you're more looking for that.
Absolutely.
Promethean, you're looking for additional bottles.
Valenda's curiosity has been piqued around the interaction that Scarlet told them about. So he's looking for, when he arrives, for anything sus, really. But I also rolled a 6. So when Valenda does rock up, he will actually just accidentally bump directly into Marcus being invisible and doing a much better investigative job.
Yeah, excellent. So Marcus, you move behind the bar. You're invisible, and it is empty. It's also very dark now. Kind of the embers of the fireplace have burnt out.
Sure.
They're casting like a little bit of a glow still, but it's quite dark in here. You position yourself exactly where you know Wex was standing when he served you. And you remember the bottle came from underneath the bar. You bob down and you see a couple of bottles there, but they are labeled various different things. There's like honey mead there. There's like a Pinot. Like there's nothing that indicates to be a Thornberry wine there. You look for the glassware, which is also just off to the right. And it's all kind of been put back nice and neatly. You see like the little bar fruit and stuff has been covered as well. You don't see any, like you kind of feel along the surface of the bar to see if there's anything that maybe like little compartments or something like that where someone could maybe spike a drink or something similar. And you can't find anything. You make your way towards where it looks like there's like a bin we've got a bunch of empty bottles in it. You start to go through, and you do eventually find a bottle that doesn't look like the rest. It is a dark purple glass. It does not have a label on it, but with that investigation check, you recall that was the bottle that was poured out for you. As you're kind of looking at this bottle, you feel someone make contact with you and look around and see that it's Valenda. You're in enough of a state where you're so focused, you're not letting go of this bottle. So no issues there, but you do see Valenda has joined you.
Feel that Valenda has joined me.
Well, he can see you, you can't see him.
Well, yeah.
You feel, by the way, Valenda, you're not expecting there to be something where there is something.
Yeah.
Marcus is going to take that Valenda, being Valenda, actually knew where Marcus was.
Mm-hmm.
And is like, I don't know how you managed to find me, but that's remarkable.
What are you doing down here?
And Marcus will drop invisibility, holding the bottle.
Good find.
It's and he will cast detect magic right then and there.
On the bottle?
Basically, so that gives me that 30-foot radius around there, DM.
Right.
Just to see, because I want to see if
Cool.
anything around this bar is magical beforehand.
You, Valenda, see this what you've seen before, and that is your friend Marcus, if you want to call him that. Like hone in on your surroundings, and Marcus, you take your time casting this spell, and before we find out the results, we're going to go on a 10-minute break. Because it's been some time since We started this session and I didn't realize the passage of time. So we're going to go on a 10-minute break and we will be right back. Stick around to find out what this magic is and if Wex is just a dirty liar. We will be back shortly. Everyone wave. 1A.
Hey.
Welcome back, everybody. How
So-
are we feeling? Oh my god, my volume's up because I was listening to a voicemail. How are y'all feeling? How are we doing?
Real good.
Okay, well, since you were first to answer, Promethean, would you like to recap the session, please?
Sure. Visions have been had with a drugged wine that grants some kind of strange visions to those that consume it. Scarlet has previously, in the last session, been gifted the secret code to enabling her sick-ass wings, which Valenda inspected. At her request, they feel real soft and they're real pretty. All silvery and shit. Which is awesome. Marcus had initially a vision that I won't describe, and secondly, another vision of a person that Valenda has run into in their past, which gives us a nice little link between the characters, which is always a nice little warm and fuzzy. Marcus seems to be losing the absolute shit about it, though. Scarlett tried to talk to the bartender about obtaining some more of this wine and was told that that didn't happen, which was a little confusing for everyone involved. And essentially, now Marcus and Valenda are snooping around the bar in the dark, trying to get some kind of clues, I guess, as to exactly what's going on. And Marcus has found a bottle of this stuff. I'm sure there's at least 7 things I've missed.
No, that's great. So where we are currently is in the bar. Marcus is holding this purple glassed bottle. You are now here, and you are watching as Marcus is casting Detect Magic. Marcus, it's very strange because you expect and you are waiting for this bottle to just light up with magical energy, and it doesn't. Weirdly, though, at this moment, Wex comes out. He looks half asleep. He gets himself a glass of water, does not pay attention to either of you at all. But there is a faint glow of magical aura around him that you can't discern what type it is. He goes back to bed, and the aura disappears.
Is he supposed to glow like that?
So, I'm familiar with mind-altering magics. You know, passingly, obviously. Never do them themselves. But, passingly. As... That's interesting. Did anyone in the bar stand out to you particularly of interest, or someone that was so uninteresting they were worth interest? Valenda?
Biting back the urge to insult his friend, Valenda will shake his head. No, I followed Wex for a while. I thought maybe they would be of interest. It turns out I was right, but certainly nothing that I observed. Speaking of observations, though, just quickly, and while the others aren't here, the figure that you saw in your vision, I suspect they're associated with a group of people I'm not particularly enthralled by meeting again, on account of them having threatened to kill me if we do. And they all wore emerald cloaks. And in fact, the book that I've mentioned to you in the past that I've been seeking, they interrupted the process of finding it. Not a whole lot there to aid in your own quest at all, but worth keeping in mind that individual and their associates seem to be quite dangerous.
Thank you for mentioning that. And given, if you think they're dangerous, one would take they would be deadly to a humble teller of stories, a raconteur such as myself, then probably we need to get some bigger bodyguards. Is that what you're going for, or just avoid them full stop?
Look, I am always in preference of the latter. But under these circumstances, I'm not disinclined to do a little bit of digging. And look, they may be dangerous, but at the end of the day, everyone's candle could be snuffed in one way or another, one by one, if necessary.
Well, that's...
Meanwhile,
yes.
I see you've obtained a bottle.
And Marcus is very carefully holding the bottle. So it's he's got rather than holding it with his hands, he's got a rag around the top of it. He's read too many murder mystery books. So he's cupping it there, not for the fingerprints, because we can't do that, but it's more for the toxins, because he's been around two people that talk repeatedly about using poisons and so forth. So it's that kind of almost like leather chamois type thing around it. It's like, I thought I might give Sol a run at this and see if he can work out what it is. But the glassware is unusual. So,
Unusual in what way?
Well, it's this dark purple. It's this dark purple color, and let's investigate in the morning, because it's been a long night, and the Wake seems to be wandering around, sleepwalking, and again, we are in a bar, crouched down here. It is rather dark, and a human challenge we have is we're unable to see in the darkness, and I'm going to have to feel my way back up to the room.
You enjoy that. I'm going to linger around here for a few more hours and see if anything interesting occurs.
Ignore my crawling. The best of luck, and
Only you had a friend that could see in the dark.
Or cast dancing lights.
Yeah, you see these dancing lights appear.
I know. No,
he's not going to cast it.
Doing that. No.
Do it.
Every
Do
15
it.
foot, I will message Valinda, though. He's like, this isn't the
Don't
stairs. That
fucking make
piece of the
jokes if
bathroom.
you're not going to follow through. From
Left.
within.
And somewhat slowly, Marcus will and let's make a stealth roll, just because it's going to be fun, right?
Why not?
Oh, yeah, 21. So no, sadly, that wasn't a hilarious bumping into chamber pots I thought it'd be.
No. And you actually, like Valinda, you, despite being able to see in the dark, feel like based on that stealth roll, he just disappears from your sight.
Apart from the occasional message. Oh,
yeah,
Splinter.
As soon as that happens, then Valinda will cast dancing lights at the top of whatever stairs he's going to. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, and you see him, but you don't hear him. He's very quiet. You head off to bed. Valinda, you are, just hanging out in the bar until that last 4 hours. Nothing of note happens. Every now and again, like from outside, you hear like someone drunk, like singing or doing something stupid, but nothing within the bar or immediately outside that would cause you to be concerned.
Mhm.
And unless anyone else has anything they wish to do, you may all have a long rest. You don't level up. Haha.
No level up.
Unfair.
No.
I mean, am I in my own room now, or am I with Jonan?
Jonan is in there, and he does not really say too much. He went straight to bed.
He's
Just
there
fold
too.
clothes.
He is there too.
I was getting ready. Look, I'm going to continue my investigation of the product we've obtained and try and decipher what's in the in the wine, or split it. I don't know if I'll be able to truly identify everything, but at least split it in a way that I could understand what parts are in it.
So, are you trying to separate the liquid? How are you attempting to do this?
Yeah, so I have an alchemy set, and I'm going to pour it through a set of filters and try and catch the ingredients if possible. Just basic. Not that I'm a scientist, if I know. Yeah, exactly. D20. Try and figure out if there's stuff I can catch, where I can find out what ingredient it might be.
Cool. Okay. You take the time to do so. You notice again, like the Thornberry is relatively new. And that was the concern of Rayella sending you on this journey.
Sorry, just to interrupt. It's a wine. It's advertised as a wine that we've been drinking, right?
Correct.
Is there a sediment or something that is left over?
I'm getting to that.
Okay, cool.
So like as you're kind of pouring that through, it's hard for you to determine exactly what it is, but rather than it being like a sediment per se, there are like little bits, almost like pulp-like, that would lead you to believe that there is some sort of a fruit that hasn't been fully diluted into like a liquid. There are bits of pulp.
Yeah.
But what are you laughing at? You don't recognize this fruit specifically.
If I can, before I sleep, so I don't waste a spell slot, and I will understand if I have to.
You might have to, because I did ask if anyone was doing anything else before they went to sleep.
Can I cast Great Bonfire as a Bunsen burner? Try and dry this out as best as possible, in the smallest contained way.
Does it say how big it is?
It does. Pretty fucking big.
So, like, you know that it's possible to do that. You do know that you're in an incredibly fucking small room,
Actually, I
and
might be able
you
to
get the
use,
sense that the likelihood for mistake or fire is high.
I'm pretty sure magical tinkering, I can use that as class slot to create a small fire. Maybe I do that. It's a light. No, I can't. Okay, well, I can't do that. I will use paper to try and dry this out.
Yeah, cool. Are you just going to try and press it, or?
Yeah, and press over press. And I'm going to keep it and see what I can do with it a little bit later after I dried it out.
Yeah, cool. Okay, easy as. You feel like you have gathered some little bits here and there. You've probably got like 3 or 4 chunks. and they feel safely pressed for you. What's everyone else doing when they wake up?
Well, I presume that the fire from the fireplace previously disclosed in the room that meant we didn't have to create a bonfire.
Yeah.
Has gone out. Scarlett will be doing her, she's feeling a little bit anxious about what's going to happen. So she will probably go downstairs. There would be somewhere that she would know, having stayed there before, whether it's out in a stable or whatever, where she can basically do a bit of a workout to burn off some energy. And then she'll have some breakfast and then go up and get changed for the day.
Yeah, beautiful. You do so easily enough. Wex is behind the bar again. He serves you. It's not a buffet style. He serves you a plate of bacon and eggs, and some dry toast on the side. Wish it had some butter, but it doesn't. Sorry. The bacon's greasy though, so that's good. And you head back up to change. Astryn is awake. She is up and about getting ready for the day. Still quieter than what you would expect, but she's up and about. You see that she kind of pours out some water from her water skin and just kind of splashes her face with it, and gets ready for the day. And then she heads down to go and get breakfast. Marcus, what are you doing?
Is there anyone in the room Marcus is staying in? Because I'm not sure if Valinda has returned or...
Yeah, he would have come back for his little meditation session, right?
Then yes.
in those last 4 hours.
Yeah. So knowing Valinda likes to be left in the dark, Marcus will attempt to tiptoe out of the room, clutching armfuls of stuff because it's dark and game doesn't have dark vision.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I imagine the raging inferno that is half the inn that's on fire from previously, right? Has illuminated our exit on the way out.
No, after your rest, there is light that is starting to come into the inn. And so you can make your way around easy enough.
Okay. And I will pantomime tiptoe to the door, cast a quite quick look back to see if Valinda's staring at me or not, in that kind of I'm a creepy elf assassin type way.
If it is, if you need 8 hours, he only needs 4.
Correct.
I mean, yeah, he'd probably be waking up at this point or snapping out of his meditation.
You rolled a 23 on perception for the tiptoeing out, so yes, he is staring at you, none too impressed.
Yeah. Rest up, and then just kind of slip out the door again, and then kind of become a bit more Marcusy on the way down the stairs as he's kind of pulling on clothes rather than getting dressed in the room. He's getting dressed on the way down the hallway and walking down the steps.
Marcus. Valinda will follow. After getting dressed, Valinda is always Valinda-y, but we'll follow down shortly after.
Yeah, great. You make your way down, and you would have noticed, Sol, that Jonan was not there anymore.
What?
But downstairs, Jonan is eating a meal. So Valinda and Marcus, you would see that he is eating and drinking a cup of something out of a mug.
And Marcus will make his way towards the twins. It will attempt an insight check to see if it's that kind of weird twinny thing where people are having a kind of conversation, or if they're open to someone joining them, if that's at all possible.
They are both eating, not actually conversing. Jonan does actually give you a wave as you make your way down, so you get the sense that it would be fine.
Okay. But there was kind of that should I straight down and kind of plonk myself down next to them. Oh, good morning to you both.
Jonan looks at you and he says, "Morning, how'd you sleep?"
I had a lot to think about after downing 2 glasses, and lean forward in a little bit more conspiratorial voice and says, I had saw some rather unusual things which dredged up some interesting challenges of my past, which I have theories on, but if you're willing to share, and you don't need to because I'm happy to overshare, but if you're willing to share what you saw when you drank it, it would be remarkably useful to know if this is just something that I've come into, or just help me understand my own theories a little bit.
What are you just wanting to know what I saw?
Yes.
Or
Absolutely.
oh,
If you want to share.
I saw the graves of my parents.
May I ask, have they departed this realm?
No.
Ah. That's unfortunate. Can I ask, are you close to your parents? Because
Here and there.
You both seem to be remarkably adept at looking after yourselves. I'm assuming your parents have similar capabilities too.
They're not bad people. We just don't live with them or need them necessarily.
And if this is too grim a question for breakfast, I very much understand. But did you get a sense of their passing from the graves?
How? Like how they passed?
No. So, with the gravestones, were they wreathed with flowers? Were they broken stones like they'd been long dead, or were they just recently buried type thing?
Neither. No wreaths, no fresh dirt. I guess you would say lived in, but that would be ironic and incorrect. So, but not old, not like they've been there for centuries.
And did it incite any? And again, apologies for the over asking, but my
That's fine. You can ask me about all of my childhood trauma after this if you'd like to, just over breakfast.
Again, probably lunch would be better, I imagine, because it's going to be a long one. But did it make you want to go back and visit with your parents?
No.
Was there an immediate rush to go back and see them?
No.
How's the eggs?
Well, cold now.
I can get you some more.
But good enough. No, it's fine. It's fine. I've been, I'm not super hungry. They've just been sitting here.
And again,
you looked unsettled yesterday.
I did, and I still am now. There are too many questions. I have been seeking a friend for a while, and it brought some images into rapid visibility. Your friend that we were traveling with. Do you think she's going to turn up anytime soon?
She was paid her share. She didn't say she was planning on coming back anytime soon.
Because there was an unusual figure that materialized in one of my dreams, which is I'd love to get some other people's insight into the recognized, but I've been suggested that this might be a troublesome foe should we encounter such. And I'm not too keen on putting you delightful two into danger.
We are likely going to leave you after the winery, which was always the plan. Once we get our hands on some of this wine.
in your travels, once you both had just a little bit more breakfast, I'd just love to pick your brains basically on just a map I have, because Scarlett mentioned that you might recognise a few places, and again, I'm always seeking well-travelled or recommendations on who we could go and chat to talk about a particular map I've done.
No time like the present.
Oh, okay. And Marcus will just kind of push one or two of the plates out of the way and kind of spread out the map in front of the table.
Yeah.
And I'll just continue chatting to the twins while the rest of the party are doing their stuff.
Yeah, cool. While this chat is happening, Belinda, what are you doing?
After having just kind of arranged a light breakfast, when this map comes out that is spread on the table, Belinda will take the opportunity to ask, Marcus, what are these red crosses all over your map?
Belinda, the Silent Shadow. Look, these are places of interest, and this map was gifted to me, and I'm trying to find out more about each of these locations. It's a mystery within a mystery, wrecked in an enigma, and with a bit of yolk on it now, as far as I can tell, and kind of flick that bit off.
Gifted by who?
Well, I'd like to believe it were a clue left behind by Briley, but I have a nasty suspicion that this may not be her now.
Have you been to any of these places as yet?
I was on my way, dear boy, and then life kind of gets in the way, plus do bandits, plus, debt collectors, plus, the list goes on. So meeting you wonderful folk is going to allow me to get to these places.
Excellent. And DM, any of the other locations marked on here familiar to Belinda now that it's lying there out in the open, or is it still just the one that I'm aware of?
Make a straight intelligence roll for me.
Sure. It's Pride Month. It'll be a little bit bent. 12.
You don't recognize these places from visiting them. They're not places that you go, oh yeah, I've been there. The best you can gather is that the cord's edge has places around Damada. You could hazard a guess that based on one of them being an exact location of a hideout of the cord's edge, you could hazard a guess that the rest might be the same, if not similar.
Yeah.
But you're not 100% certain. It's very much guesswork.
Okay. To Marcus, then Belinda will say, let's not just go blundering in to these places, perhaps.
As if I do that.
And we'll just turn away and munch down on his light little brekkie.
Sol and Scarlett, what are you two doing at this point?
Scarlett's probably upstairs getting ready because it will take longer than it normally does. So
yeah, cool.
That way she'll be
You're
ready.
still preening.
She's still preening.
Yeah.
And practicing the poses and all, trying to get herself back into the headspace.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And yeah, that does take some time to just shake this weird anxiety that you have, because it's been some time now since you've done it. Sol, what are you doing? You've now got these pressed berries, or parts of berries.
Yeah. no one else is in the room, so I'll take a bit of time and just get myself together, organize my potions and Alexas and what I would normally do throughout the day, and come downstairs probably a little bit later than everybody else. And join in on the breakfast, I guess.
Yeah, so you would arrive before Scarlet, but you would arrive probably after this conversation has happened. You see that everyone is looking at this map that Marcus has laid out on the table. And Jonan is studying this map also.
Is there any fruit or anything on the table?
No, not on the table.
Sausages?
As far as you can tell, like, this food has been brought out, so it's not like a buffet where you just serve yourself.
Oh, so it's a plating. I'll grab a plate of food then. Come down.
Yeah. Someone actually sees that you are joining the table, and it takes a couple of minutes, but they bring food out to you.
I'll put my filthy fingers on the map, and I've seen you marked out a couple of places in Ascendus and Malahia, Marcus.
Well, technically, I these are places of investigation, and just to save you from having to put that, and then Marcus carefully plonks the wine bottle to hold down one of the corners when Wes is coming near us.
Yeah, okay, cool. Two things are going to happen. The first thing that happens is Wex plops down the plate and he goes, "Oh, good morning. Traveling, I see."
Good morning, Wes. I tap him on the back.
It's Wex, but that's fine.
What do we have here?
Eggs and bacon and bread.
Almost an eggs Benny.
Sure.
Have you
If
got
that's
any
what you want to
holiday
call it.
things out there?
No, I don't. Budget constraints.
Fair enough. Hopefully, this will help with it, and I'll pass him a couple of silver.
Oh, he takes it and is very grateful. He kind of bows his head and he's like, "Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate. Thanks." And he just scurries off. And looks like he's got a little bit of a pep in his step. To your knowledge, Marcus, he is unfazed by this bottle. Doesn't pay too much close attention to it at all. Jonan looks at this map and for a moment he just goes cross-eyed. And then he blinks and he goes, maybe now is not the time because I rolled a natural 1. And he goes, these places, I couldn't tell you what they are. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Never mind.
I mean, there's one.
Never mind.
I'm
told I was to ask for something called eggs method. I'm not sure what that is. Apparently, they're quite spicy.
Who are you saying this to?
Just to Jonah at this point in time. It's like maybe that will fire up their memories after a long day, early morning.
I guess it depends on the type of method.
Wouldn't know. I've never been there, so I'm relying on the advice of others about such things.
Okay. Probably not here is the place. If you're looking for more exotic cuisine, probably want to go deeper into Aladria.
Always up for a new experience.
Track some down. Yeah, for sure. It's at this point where you, Scarlet, would likely be ready to join the rest of your party.
So she would have had breakfast early because she would have gotten up early to do the routine and everything. So she'll basically just come down and sit down and join them. But she always has a decent posture, but you'll be seeing that she's sitting very straight and a little bit different, a little more conscious of how she's positioning herself while she sits there talking to everyone. And yes, she does look like she stepped off a Bridgerton set.
Jonan will nod his head at you and he will say, I don't see you like this very often.
Don't get me wrong, I like looking girly, but society didn't like the rest of me, so it has memories. Today, okay, we should probably talk about, oh, sorry, I know you're talking about like the map stuff, and my brain's thinking forward because I'm just a bit anxious, but we should probably talk. I mean, I'm turning up with a bunch of people. When I go to introduce you, who is everyone? Who's taking what roles? Are we walking there? Are we taking a carriage? Like, this isn't really horse riding outfit. But when you guys have finished talking about this map that's here, and she'll do a quick look at the map before it gets packed up. Let's see how we go. Terribly. It doesn't seem to matter what dice I'm rolling tonight. The highest I've rolled is a 9.
Excellent. You recognize that these are all in specific, non-specific areas in Damata. None of them resonate or mean anything specific to you.
None are in my hometown, so that's fine.
Correct.
And she'd be distracted anyway, because she has to pretend to be someone that she kind of left behind.
I think Valendo will pull out his fancy clothes from his pack. Give me 5 minutes.
Which you do all have fancy clothes.
I'm happy to play the part of business partner. Farius.
Okay, I need to say that to myself so I don't accidentally use a different name. What names are everyone else using?
Come on, Sol.
Jonan just goes, I'm happy for you to use my name. I'm not worried. And Astryn will be fine.
Okay. Yep.
I'll look to Marcus. You go first, please.
No, dear chap.
Coopers.
Coops.
And what role are you thinking of playing in this engagement?
Myself?
Mm-hmm.
The one I've been playing this whole time, supporting you.
Well, the drive here, dear boy, is we've got the very lovely Scarlet in such a wonderful outfit, and then we've got Farius here, who, well, when he returns, I'm sure will be needing some sort of, I don't know, assistant or something to go through. Perhaps you want to be directed to one of those. It depends what you're trying to get to, I would say. So perhaps a wine taster, given your scientific kind of abilities.
I must admit that is awfully intriguing. However, I'm not so sure my constitution, after watching the three of you, might be up for it. But why not?
You do know that with proper wine tasting, you're spitting it out at the end. You're not.
I'm not so sure if the wines that we're going to be tasting are going to give me that ability, but let's find out.
Marcus, can you make a wisdom save for me, please?
I'd be delighted to, DM. one moment while I click on my character sheet because...
And we all know that at most wine tastings, people do drink the drink, but technically, you are meant to spit it out.
Ooh. 19, glorious DM.
Excellent, thank you. If that's all you're discussing currently, Valenda, you would have time to change and come back. Astryn and Jonan finish up their meals. They duck away for a moment. You can kind of see the two of them having some sort of a discussion. This has happened every morning when you've been traveling with them. It's also how they said goodbye to Tybella that one time. So it's not out of the norm for this to happen. It doesn't feel suspicious. They duck off for a moment, have a chat amongst themselves, and then they come back with all of their gear ready to go. Is there anything else that you would all like to prepare before you make your way towards the winery?
No, I'll point out that so Valenda will have used his disguise kit to, not completely, but his appearance is definitely otherwise than it normally would be. So bit of wig action, bit of makeup of some kind to give his still very purple skin just a slightly different hue and maybe a pattern of freckles or something. It's a very good disguise. It looks quite
Cool.
fancy.
Okay. Fancy schmancy.
And if it's at all possible, DM, I'm given that I think the winery was some distance away from this locale, can we hire a coach of some description rather than the delightful wagon we had?
You can. You can.
Okay.
You do feel like it may cost some money, but if I recall, you may be able to cover it.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, okay, great. Is anyone else doing anything to change their appearance?
Yeah. Well, I'm not really. I'm just going to take off my dust coat, my big trench coat, I guess.
Cool.
And I'll take my hat off
Mm-hmm.
and pack that
Great.
away.
Whoa.
You just
And ruffle up my long hair and twist my beard.
Excellent. Dapper. You speak to Wex behind the bar. He tells you that you can hire a carriage for to travel nearby at a nearby stable. You make your way there, Astryn and Jonan in tow. It will cost you 10 gold pieces a day to hire the carriage.
Okay.
Are you footing the bill, or are you all splitting it?
No. So Michael's will quite do it, and then I'll carefully not sign any of the disclaimers of any damage caused. We have to pay for because
Excellent.
Oh, yep.
No, yeah, cool. You avoid all of the additional weird insurance liability things that they try and make you sign. And it's not too long before they bring out a carriage that is big enough to sit all of you in it comfortably. For you, Scarlett, it might still feel a little uncomfortable just because you are in clothing that you're not haven't been in for some time now. So it's more of a inward discomfort than it is outward. It takes you a couple of hours to get to the winery. Is there anything that you would like to do on the way there?
Is there food in this carriage?
What is your obsession? There's
wrong with
no
eating?
food.
Doesn't matter. I'm here for it.
Is it a new thing you're trying?
I've eaten food on a long journey somewhere.
Not out of a carriage.
I'll
Right.
just be picking at like food and cheese if that's there. Have a sip of wine.
Yeah. No, you'll be picking at rations out of your ration pack.
Okay.
Anyone else need to do anything before they arrive?
I'd like to see if we're being followed by any chance, by anything in particular, or anyone in particular.
Make a perception check for me, please.
Do-do-do.
Night Ash.
Nash. And I get a distracted because Ash is leaving 9.
You see, like, Maluhia itself is quite busy, so the roads are busy. You see other carriages passing you, just travelers in general. You don't see anyone that's paying close attention to you. You don't feel like you're being tailed either. Along the way, not much conversation happens. Anyone else that needs or wants to make a perception check can. Just generally.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Dirty 21.
Why not?
Excellent.
13.
Oh my god.
I know.
Look, it's not going to be high. 2, 5.
Okay. You
I'm too
realize
busy.
you realize that the rations that you're eating are actually like an old packet of rations, and they just don't taste good at all. Scarlett and Valenda, you again, like, it's busy on the roads. No one looks like they're following you. Definitely, people are paying attention because it's a nice looking carriage, but like not enough that it would be considered suspicious. The one thing that you, Valenda, specifically note is that Astryn looks just again like a little spaced out. Not necessarily like unhealthy, but just looks like she's not really all there today.
Okay.
Um,
I don't think Valinda will call her out on that.
cool.
Yeah. He would probably suggest to Scarlett that they get their story a bit straight on how they came to know each other as business partners, and would probably recommend sticking as close to the truth as possible. Just a vague story about having met in Agora. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. After the few hours pass, you pull up at this winery. The carriage door swings open, and you see essentially this property that is outskirted by these wrought iron gates that are like a deep obsidian color. And vines and foliage just kind of climb up throughout these gates, peppered with all these little purple flowers. It's actually really pretty to look at. And being now that the sun is out, it's, early afternoon. It looks beautiful. Even though the gates are large and look somewhat intimidating, the actual gates are open, so it's not like it's closed off. Anyone can go in. You actually see a couple of people making their way in. And you are welcome to enter the winery. Above the gates, you do see a sign, and carved in wood in cursive letters is Sacred Wood Wines.
Marcus will hop down and pop open a large parasol for both Scarlett and Valanda. At some point, I actually say Valanda, but Valanda is the one I'm going to say at this stage. Pop open a large one that gives them a suitable shade in this warm day.
People are looking at you, but like more looking at you with curiosity and almost like somewhat admiration as they see you all kind of, making your way towards the winery.
Okay. I can do this. Marcus, you can still do most of the talking because you're probably better at that than I am.
Right, you are. And how are you introducing you again?
Well, it's not as if I'm a noble, so it would just be Scarlet Bell from...
That's good. That was okay. Just checking. Because Farius next to you, just making sure. Anyway, Scarlet Bell. We'll make our way towards the main doors, unless I'm directed elsewhere by my two employers.
You make your way through the entrance gates, and as you're entering, you're following this gravel path throughout. As you're looking out, it's kind of like once you get past these vines, it opens up into quite open land. You actually notice now that where this winery is placed is atop of a slope, and the property kind of curves downwards. Looking out into the lower part of the ground, you see all of these vast amounts of vines that actually look like general like grape vines. They don't necessarily look too much different. You see, green grapes, and you see red grapes. You also see that down to the left-hand side of the property before all these vines are a couple of like little wooden tables with these cream umbrellas. Over them, you see a couple of people like enjoying a couple of glasses of wine there. It seems like a pretty welcoming place. To the right, you see a building. It is made all of wood. It is kind of sitting on the lower part of the ground, so you are kind of looking at the top half of the house or building. And aside from that, you can just kind of see the window panes of like this peach and purple colored glass. But yeah, the property is yours. You do see also actually, you see this older looking gentleman, human. He has like salt and pepper hair that's being kind of pushed back off his face. He's sitting in a rocking chair, not too far off from where those umbrellas are. And you do see that there is an elven woman, auburn hair, all plaited together, standing having a conversation with him. You do see that kind of people are talking and pointing towards them. But yeah.
Scarlet, which way?
Well, I've never been here before. So I guess.
Sorry, go.
The main entrance. Then we can always look at products until we attract attention.
Sure. Marcus throws a quick look over to Farius.
This is going well.
Valenda, I think, will do a bit of a scan around the room, trying to establish if he can determine who looks like they own the joint, essentially, to start with.
Make an insight roll for me.
Jointly. 16, 19.
You get the sense based on the way that this elven woman who has now moved away from the older gentleman, is kind of walking around. She seems to be greeting people and, shaking hands politely, that sort of thing. You get the sense that this person, if not running the place, at least would be able to point you to the person that does.
And Valenda will very subtly, with his head, just kind of indicate the elven woman's direction.
We will, as a group, make our way up to that. Marcus has been kind of weirdly humming and whistling a song, which had been casting Detect Magic So as we got to the start of the property, I kind of want to detect magic up and running, please, DM, if possible, and then make a beeline towards the elven lady, showing as many teeth as possible.
How long does detect magic last?
10 minutes in this particular case.
Good to know. As you're wandering down, you do get like faint senses of magical auras from various people that you pass.
Sure.
Obviously beings are magical and hold magical equipment. You don't, aside from that, nothing that is standing out to you immediately. As you all make your way towards this elven woman, she smiles at all of you upon approach, and she's like, "Welcome. Can I help you with anything?"
Good afternoon. I'd just like to introduce these two delightful potential purchasers, if you could. This is Dr. Farias and Scarlet Bell.
Oh, Doctor and Scarlet, lovely to meet you both. Welcome to Sacred Wood Wines. If you're looking at purchasing, you've come to the right place. We make it all on site. We sell it. If you have the gold for it.
Oh, please don't stand on any tiles. You don't need to call me doctor. Ferris will be just fine. Myself and my associate Miss Bell here are looking for something of a wholesale arrangement.
Okay, well, have you, that's great. Have you tasted the wine? Is there one that you're specifically after? We have a couple of different blends here. What specific one are you looking for, or range?
Miss Bell, I believe, is something of a local. Perhaps I'll allow her to continue the discussion about what exactly it is we're interested in.
Well, I mean, I've been here a few times, but I wouldn't call myself a local. I'm from, you may have heard of the Bell family. And while the rest of my family engage in more mainstream pursuits, in my travels I tend to look for things that are more up and coming, or potential trends or side businesses.
The Bell family. I'm sorry, I didn't pick up on that immediately. Yes, lovely to meet yourself, Scarlett. Absolutely, we can definitely arrange something. If you would like, you can accompany. I can meet you inside the main building. We can do a tasting. I can show you what we have.
That would be lovely.
Okay. I'll go and grab my husband, and I'll meet you in the building. It's just if you follow it around to the right, and she kind of gestures off towards this wooden building that you were all looking at earlier. And she wanders over to the gentleman with the salt and pepper hair to kind of help him up out of his chair. Is there anything that you are all doing between now and the building? Aside from your detect magic?
Yeah, so Marcus had handed over the rather curious bottle over to Sol earlier on, and with the hope that Sol's going to kind of pick up with this more perceptive piece from them. So he's leading the charge to cause as much distraction as possible to focus attention on him, so the other three can do their shenanigans on the side.
In which case, have we discussed this?
Like all fine plans, no.
I will just, as the other two are they being let in yet?
No, so the elven lady has gone off. She said she was going to get her husband and meet you all in there. So you've kind of started moseying towards the building, but no one is inside yet.
Can I see where the wine's being stored then? Or is this just like a open...
You're currently like in the vineyard, essentially. You're not within like the actual building.
But
But you can certainly keep an eye out for it when you go into the building if that's what you'd like to do.
Yeah, I will. I guess I'll take the bottle and I'm gonna wait for the opportune moment to, I guess, dash into where the stocks would be.
Yeah, cool. You all make your way towards this main building. Marcus, it's really weird because similar to getting a hot flush, you
Actually, can
you
I ask a question? Can I keep a perceptive eye out for anybody that might be working in the vineyard that might, in a particular way, that as they're dressed?
aside from the owners, I assume?
Yeah, just like general staff members. Do they look like they're dressed in a particular way?
You can't see anyone at immediate glance, but if
I'm
you're
assuming
keeping an
sort
eye
of,
out for it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
this is going to be probably
Um,
something I'm going to be keeping an eye out as we progress.
cool. Yeah, sweet. Marcus, similar having a hot flush as you're making your way towards the building, you kind of feel like you feel this warmth like overcome you, and you for a moment could have fucking sworn that you saw Briley literally just standing in front of you, like in the vision, and it flashes in and out of existence. Split
Um,
second.
As soon as that happens, Marcus doesn't pause, but in a low voice says, "I believe the imbibing of last night is continuing to research itself. Be warned, Scarlet."
Well, is that because you had it like 2 glasses?
Look, I'm getting a bit sweaty, and Marcus kind of just gets a handkerchief and kind of dabs his chest and belly button just to remove some of the sweat that's around, and it's like, look,
Yeah.
you know, it could be, but just in case the tasting gives you opportunity to taste more.
Well, I mean, if we're still suffering from the effects, then that shows that we've consumed it and we want it because we enjoyed the experience, like that we're not coming in to investigate if we've taken it ourselves. You know, the whole we're not undercover law enforcement, because we've had some.
Just a gentle warning to those that haven't imbibed.
You make your way inside the building. It's beautiful in here. It is all this like deep, like mahogany wood, inside, and similar to many vineyards that I guess you, Scarlett, are probably the most likely to have. And maybe Marcus, no, you also are familiar with wineries and vineyards in general. You have been to a few of these before. You can see that you're walking in and it's essentially like what doubles as like a shop counter, but also a bar. And there are just wine bottles lining the back wall. Different colored bottles. You don't see any purple glassed bottles immediately, Sol or anyone else in the party. You do, however, Sol managed to pick up that there is just a young elven boy that is working, just cleaning out some glasses and then running back out of the building, looking like they're about to go tend to something. And they're just dressed in a simple linen cream shirt and some dark green pants. Nothing too descript.
This isn't like if you went to a restaurant or something and you saw a whole bunch of people working, they're always in a uniform. Is that what?
You get the sense that if there's a uniform, that's probably what it is.
Off of one person?
Yeah. This is
can't wait
not
till
a massively staffed place. Moments later, this elven woman walks in, and now that you're kind of all waiting there, you get a better look at her. She is not super young. She's not old in elven years either. She looks to be, slightly more matured. She has this like flushed porcelain skin, this auburn red hair that has all been plaited, these green eyes. She's wearing this beautiful green linen dress. And you see that on her arm is an older human man. You would think that he was probably about 60, 65. And he's also wearing similarly cream linen button up. He's wearing black pants. And you see as he's walking, it looks like he has some sort of either injury or he's just not, he is relying on leaning on his wife and also on a cane. And the elven woman says, sorry to keep you waiting. My name is Astryn Wood, and this is my husband, Berkeley. Thank you for stopping by. We can get something prepared for you. We've been in this business for quite some time now. And yeah, we have a large selection to choose from. What are you looking at doing with the wine?
Well, effectively, I'm looking to potentially diversify the family portfolio. So a selection of wines that are at the upper end would be preferred, given the clientele. Currently looking, while wholesale for an overall number, to have that across a certain amount of lines, we can see how the product works, given I'm not actually from here. So we would be trying to provide the wine in a different locality.
Are you specifically here after the Thornberry Wine?
One of them, yes.
Okay. Most people that come in here asking about upper class or exotic wines are usually looking for this one. Which we have.
That hasn't been there. So it would be a new product, and therefore the first really that would be provided would be then by my family.
It's pretty exquisite. And yeah, it's obviously in high demand. We are shipping quite a bit of it out to Agora. And so stock is rather low, but I'm sure we can give you some or sell you some bottles if you'd like some. And she, like, with Berkeley, makes her way behind the bar. And they pull out a couple of various bottles. One of them is a deep purple color, similar to the bottle that you, Marcus, have given to Sol. Same color. This one has a label on it, though.
I might, if possible, as we're experiencing the tasting. I'll take a special interest in the purple bottle if I can.
Yeah.
Take a perception check or something like that. See if it actually looks like the rest of the stuff that I've spread, I guess, and gotten into its ingredients. Not very well.
Oh, so the actual liquid itself.
Yeah, and anything else that I can decipher whether or not this is actually different from what we had from the bar is probably my main objective.
On top of the Thornberry wine being brought out before it's even poured, there is a couple of different bottles, a red wine, a sparkling white, like a very typical wine tasting rosé. Is anyone else looking out for anything in particular?
Scarlett will make sure she is consuming a little bit of all of them because it is genuine. She is wanting to see what the rest of the lines are like. But we'll also want to, so I'll wait and see what the others do, but there will also be some questions for Astryn as we're doing the tastings.
And what was the husband's name? Sorry, as well?
Berkeley.
Cheers.
You actually see Berkeley when she mentions the Thornberry wine. He just looks a little stiffer at its mention. And Astryn starts pouring all of them except for the Thornberry wine into little glasses for all of you. And she says, we do offer tastings for all of our wines. We can't offer them for the Thornberry wine. If you drink too much of it, or you react poorly to it, it's not something that I or my husband are wanting to deal. We're not doctors. You've got one with you, so that's excellent news. And it's just not a liability we're willing to take. The Thornberry specifically should only be taken in very small amounts. And it is similar to a dessert wine. It's very lovely. I've worked very hard on the brew. But I can some bottles.
I do have some questions just from a business point of view. I'm not asking you to share company secrets, of course, but in regards to transportation, does it carry well over long distance? What are the storage requirements? Things like that?
Room temperature is fine. It's not dangerous. It's just people are fearful of what is unknown, and magic is unknown to quite some amounts of people, and for that reason people tend to react badly to it. So
is that a slogan you're using?
I don't think that would be a slogan given the reaction of some of the areas.
Are you bottling magic?
Bottling it? I mean, yes, essentially.
Is the magic?
It is magical in nature.
Is the magic because of the ingredients, or is there actually a spell being imbued? Because
when I say magic, I don't mean I've cast a spell on it or I have put any type of potion in it per se. It is just that the thornberry itself is considered something not of the norm and requires magic to tend to it. And for that reason, it is magical in nature.
So it's not to a point where selling this in certain areas of the world would, of course, open us up to legal action.
I am not a lawyer, but I would say that it wouldn't necessarily be against the law. It would more be that you would probably face some harsh judgment for it. Not from a legal standpoint, but from a community-based standpoint.
But as long as my family would not be arrested for the use of magic.
No. If people could be arrested, we are not hiding the fact that we're selling this wine. It's just that word is only getting out now. If we could be arrested for it, we probably would have been already, but we are lucky enough to live in Maluhia, which is a little kinder to that of magical nature.
Get the cuffs out, boys. Yeah.
Speaking of luck,
outside of it,
I happen to be lucky enough to have inherited some land up in Kaivala. My business association with Miss Bell here is what it is, but there's certainly no reason I couldn't help you and your husband expand on your own operations. I wonder, would this berry grow well in that climate, do you think?
That it requires a typical climate either. It's just, we're not really, I appreciate it, we're not really interested in expanding. We've owned this business as a family for quite some time, and we're happy kind of keeping it that way.
Well, that's certainly a noble way to do business, but I assure you there's plenty of money to be made, especially up there in the north.
Oh, I've heard of, the mines and stuff like that. It's not really of interest to me. If you would like to ship the wine specifically out, then we can probably try and expedite some to you. But growing the thornberry itself, I think we will stick to here. And she pours you like all little glasses out each, hands across. If you want to drink them, you can. One of them appears to be a red. One of them is some type of sparkling wine. Another is like a weird, like peach colored rosé, not like a pinky color. And the other is like a really yellow looking still white wine.
Scarlett will have them. It's just speech. It's nothing huge.
As you're all kind of or whoever would like to is tasting the wines, Berkeley looks at you all and says, so you're all from different places traveling together. How long have you all known each other?
Well, some in this group I've known longer than others. So that is a really difficult question to answer. I met each of them in different ways, and I've known each of them for different periods of time.
You're all from? Where are you traveling from? You're Kaivala, obviously. Sorry about that. It's very strict up there.
It is indeed, and I do not spend a whole lot of time in that region for that very reason.
Imagine being from Sadiva. You all know that, by the way, that Sadiva is like the militant area of Damata. So it would likely be one of the stricter places in the world.
I mean, myself and the doctor here, we met in Agora recently. Happened to have common interests aligned. And
as partners, not partners.
No, I do not have a partner, much to my family's regret. Everyone else in the family married off, but I am still unpartnered.
And my travels are far too wide and varied to consider such things, unless you take into consideration my manservant Marcus here, faithful as he is.
Marcus, you get the opposite feeling. You go from feeling red hot to ice cold, and you feel like you've almost been winded. And standing behind the bar, behind the shoulder of this elven lady serving you, is that figure, that gaunt figure. And once again, it just pops in and out of existence.
Who's standing near Marcus when that happens, Dim?
It would likely be Sol, because you have asked him to keep an eye out for some things. And then probably Valenda as well.
Do I get the feeling that Marcus is a little bit waylaid in thoughts? If I even see that.
You can make a perception check.
Probably not. 5.
No, you don't see it, unfortunately.
Okay.
The second that image appears, Marcus reaches out and kind of grabs the forearm of Sol and kind of tips him towards the area scene. Now, the wife was behind the bar, right? So it was missing behind the bar.
They are both behind the bar.
Okay.
But Berkeley's kind of just standing there while Astryn is pouring wine and now kind of cleaning out glasses that you've discarded or tested from.
To Sol as quietly as he can, says, "It's happening again. Could you go and see if we can see the making of this wine? Because this is like a toxin."
I guess damn question, can I?
Are you trying to just go, or are you attempting to ask?
No. I mean, what are we in a hallway where the kegs are?
You're just in a building that looks like you're being served almost behind a bar. There is a corridor, but it is behind the bar, and it's not like an expansive corridor. It looks like it would head to a back room. You would have to pass by Berkeley and Astryn to get to it.
Oh man, this is so hard right now. I will heed, and I'm not sure if I've met you both yet, but I am the servant of all three. My name is Cooper, and I am just someone here to product test. Is it okay if I have a look at your wares behind the scenes? I have some experience, please, if that's possible.
Astryn looks at you and says, if you're wanting to see how we do it, we can just take you on a tour. That's no issue.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, would you all like to come? Or?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, please.
Okay, well, we can start out at the vines themselves, and then to where we make it, if you'd like.
Do we caught the last name? Is that right?
Yeah, Wood.
Wood. You seem as Wood. I somewhat think myself a brewer only by taste, not by experience, and I would like to tap a keg or two if that's possible.
Well, we can take you if you want. I don't know if that's possible. Like, we have the tasting here, but I can show you where we keep all of the wine barrels.
I'd like to sniff it, experience it where it is made.
Okay, well, you can sniff it through the barrels. We can take you there if you like.
That's where the true business would start. Would you not agree, Ferris?
Absolutely not.
Ferris?
You silly young man. Clearly, the vines themselves is where it all starts. Let's conduct ourselves on this tour from start to finish.
Astryn nods, and she places just a kiss on the cheek of Berkeley's right cheek, and he says, I'd love to come with you, but I'm getting older, so I will wait here, but Astryn will show you around.
Did we separate then? One
If
wishes to look at the vines. I wish to look at the industry.
I myself can't take you on the tour, but Astryn will. And he heads back out to his rocking chair outside and takes a seat.
Is the vineyard outside as well?
Yeah.
Ferris, just take a walk with the man.
He appears to be seated, young man. That's does not appear to be an option.
Astryn looks at you and says, we have all of the time. We are not in a rush. We can take you everywhere. It's going to be okay.
That's right. We're in a vineyard.
I hate it here so much. And Astryn leads you all out towards the with Jonan, and who is here, and
Jonan's here too. Oh,
and Astryn. Can I get Astryn and Jonan will be at the back of the pack? Can I get the marching order for the rest of you as Astryn is leading you out?
So Scarlett will actually ask for Jonan to be beside her, just to help me with stability, given my shoes are not really designed for fields.
Jonan will then, instead of being back of the pack, offer his arm and will escort you. You will likely be up the front with Astryn then.
I feel like I should be at the front after that conversation.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So all three of you are kind of leading the pack. You're like almost sold, just only a half a step behind, but not, and then Marcus and Valenda, are you walking together? Are you walking with Astryn?
I think Valenda would be inclined to stick close to Scarlett in this particular guise, given the conversation they've had. But before they kind of march out into the tour, I think Valenda will kind of whisper to Astryn, "Do you think there's a possibility you might stay behind and keep an eye on the old man?"
She looks at you. Can I get you to roll a perception check for me, please?
Jointly. 16?
When she looks at you, you can physically see the pupils of her eyes are just doing this consistently. And it almost takes an additional second for her to respond than what you would be used to her responding. And she says, if it's okay, I'd rather stick with everyone.
Now that you mention it, that seems like a good idea. And he'll take his place as Faris. Close up to Scarlet, I guess.
Cool. I think you'd be kind of like, not like behind, as in like trailing behind or anything, but you'd probably be, again, similar to Soul, like a step behind Scarlet sort of thing. Marcus, where would you be in relation to all of this? You're muted, my friend.
Yes, that was my own stupidity. How bright is it?
How bright? It's like the middle of the day.
Okay,
so
I had a
bright.
large parasol that I will hand to Sol in that case to give shade to the good doctor, because he's not particularly a favourite of sunlight.
Thank you, young man.
And then I will step back.
May I keep you covered?
Out to the back of the pack, and Astryn's quite solid in her thing, right? She's a very skilled fighter from what we've seen before, right? So I'm just gonna lean in a whisper, is like, I'm having a little bit of trouble. Could I lean on you for help?
Again, there's like a second
Sure.
longer delay than what you would expect. And she says, yeah, I mean, if anything's going to happen, we can tackle it.
Given that response, it's a bit like when you've kind of using someone as a little bit of a support after having one too many drinks from there, because she's a lot more. Marcus understood she was a lot more stable than he was, and a lot more capable, especially at fighting from there. But I'm using that to get a sense of how stable she is. And if you said there's something going on with it, I'm just trying to get Marcus just trying to get a sense of how together she is at the moment, or is she having a particularly bad moment herself?
No check required if you're leaning on her, because you don't necessarily, you'd have to make a check to see the pupils. But when you lean on her, you do feel like there is a tremble to her entire body as she walks.
Okay, so DM, just the way my head's going, I just kind of want to just walk with her a bit, just get a bit of a sense of how bad this is, or if it's just me being overcompensated for the concerns Marcus is having. Cool.
This has all kind of happened very quickly, because Soul's like, let's go on a tour, has kind of interrupted the tasting. So you'd be at the tail end of your 10 minutes as well. Just before that dies off, some of the vines that you are approaching do give off magical not enemies, energy, specifically at the roots themselves, like where they are being grown from.
Okay.
But again, it's hard to determine at this distance what type of magic it is. It is for all you've heard about the Thornberries, it's unfamiliar in general, this type of occurrence. So pinpointing specifically exactly what type of magic is going to be tough, even with detect magic. And you're paying close attention to Astryn as you're walking, but also to your surroundings. Astryn, whose name I've changed 10 times throughout the last 5 minutes, is walking at the front, and she is very much just kind of giving, this is the year we were founded. This is, how we started. Our first wine was just a simple white wine, woody notes to it. It was our staple for a really long time. That's why we called it Sacred Wood. Also, our last name is Wood, so go figure. Very kind of like presenting the establishment to you.
Can I ask, even though over my boisterous, can I have a look at the barrel where they keep all the alcohol and stuff like that? I did mention that I want to take a special interest in the wine that had the Thornberry in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the first one was put down that had the special purple in it.
Yeah, so it wasn't poured at all. It never got poured. It stayed in the bottle. They did explain that they can't do tastings on that one.
Right, so I didn't actually see the bottle itself.
You saw the bottle, and it matches the one that you are carrying. Same colored glass. It just has a label on it instead.
Right. Okay.
Yours doesn't have a label.
Okay, cool.
And she explains that the thornberries are grown amongst the regular grapes and other different types of berries, but to protect them, they have their own versions of magical protection that would hide them from plain sight, if that makes sense. And yeah, she's walking along, giving you that tour. I feel like at this point you can all make a perception check for me.
Groovy. I think the only specific question Farius will have for Mrs. Wood as they go through. And tell me, Mrs. Wood, is there any particular special preparation applicable to the thornberry while they're growing out here in your delightful vineyard?
I can't reveal all of my secrets, but the difference is in the distilling process that we put the wine through, or the filtering process, I should say, but also in its growth. The way and the materials we use to grow it is different to everything else.
Fascinating.
But I can't tell you everything, or you might start your own winery in Kaibala.
Not very likely. I am not one to settle down, and I do not like manual labor, ma'am. But I take your meaning.
What was everyone's perception check?
21.
Yeah,
Oh.
excellent.
12.
Marcus? Was
19.
that a 19? Did I? Yeah, I lip read that correctly. Slay. You don't notice anything too immediately until one of the young elven boy from earlier that you saw particularly paid attention to the uniform of approaches Astryn and gives her a tap on the shoulder. They exchange some quiet words, and she looks at you all and says, "Sorry, just a moment. I must go and tend to Berkeley. I will be right back. But feel free if you'd like to have a look around the vines. Don't stray too far." And she walks off with this young elven boy.
Valinda immediately crouches in stealth mode and is following them. Like, that is not
Yeah.
that is not happening.
Okay, roll a stealth for me.
Sure. Whoa, that is a nat 20 on the new super chunk.
You go into what for a total of what? Just because I'm curious.
For stealth for a total of 28.
Okay. Wow. Fuck. Everyone here no longer sees. No. He is super quiet. He's standing right in front of you. Like, he's not going to disappear from existence. But it's like it happens so quietly that, like, unless you were, like, directly looking at Valenda, it's almost like he kind of slips away. Just as you are about to get out of the proximity of the party, Marcus, you are standing with Astryn, leaning on her. And Valenda, as you're passing or about to pass her, though you're quiet, everyone can still see you, aside from Astryn and the elven boy. Astryn grabs both of you, just very tightly. And she is, and you all see this with those perception checks. And she looks like very spaced off. She looks at you then, Marcus, and she says, actually, I don't think I'm feeling very well. And she hits the deck like just a ton of bricks. Her entire body is trembling at this point. Jonan does drop your arm, Scarlet, and rushes to her side. What are you all doing?
Scarlet will reflexively use her, and it may or may not work given the nature of it, but she will do her heal on Astryn.
Mm-hmm.
Again, she doesn't realise she's doing it. So it's a case of, she's touching Astryn, she's worried that Astryn's hurt, and she's trying to heal her.
Okay.
It's only 2d4, but that's how she rolls. 7.
Hey.
Again, may not work, but
You feel you have done this before, and you know that it, on your end, it has worked. Whether it's worked on Astryn's, you're unsure. Those of you that are looking at her see this viscous, dark liquid start to like drip out of the corners of her mouth. It is a deep, dark purple color. And she looks absolutely fucking terrified. And is like looking at all of you desperately. You feel like she is asking for help, but she is no longer speaking. Her skin is just white grey at this point. The color is just leaving her face. Is there anything anyone else is doing?
Marcus grabs Soul and says, I think you can help. And as Soul grabs his earbuds and plugs them back in for fully charge. Help her, he says.
All right. I will, if I can do a medicine check.
Yeah. Cool. You can roll that for me. I was just going to give you the info.
As that is happening, DM, is it possible for Marcus to brush the coat of the doctor as he is leaving our presence?
Like, as in...
Yeah, basically, it's Valen's pass. But basically, just basically want to reach out and kind of just either grasp a part of him. Really. Yeah,
good call, Valenda. With this happening, Astryn hasn't noticed that this has happened and it's continuing. Are you following or staying with the group?
Valenda will follow, but I'll say Marcus can touch Valenda anytime.
Okay, and with that, it says, go with no gaze. of others, and invisibility is cast on to Valinda.
Whoa. Yikes.
Valenda disappears from all of your view.
To rustle
Good hunting.
grass.
And you make your way up the slope. At this point, you see Astryn grabs at her brother is now like holding onto her, and she grabs at him, and she says, all she says is, "I don't want to." And then, what was your medicine check, please?
18 with 5, 23.
You notice that her breathing is fucking like ragged. It is very irregular. In this moment, you see that blood is now like pouring out of her nose. And a moment or so after she speaks to her brother, her breathing just stops. And her eyes just go like still after the pupils gone ragged.
I'll check her pulse. Has it actually stopped, or is it still pumping? Like, has she gone into a meditative state like the others, or
It has stopped.
or is it just stopped? Yeah.
Gone.
In which case, I will use healing on her,
Mm-hmm.
if possible.
What are you doing?
I'll use an actual spell slot for healing. So 1d8 plus 4.
What spell is it? Sorry.
Cure wounds.
Okay. You cast Cure Wounds, and you feel your magic casts successfully, but it has no effect on Astryn.
Do I think that the drug, being that it speeds up heart rate, might be like adrenaline?
You have no idea.
Marcus,
Do I feel like she's... Sorry, Marcus, go.
There you go. Marcus turns to both Scarlet and Soul and says, "This feels like the after effects of some sort of toxin. Do you have anything to purge toxins? Anything at all? I mean, you did it for Runny, our kobold friend, when you were able to get him out. Any way to purge her of this? Scarlet, anything at all?"
By this
Rami, by the way, is not with you. He's not been with you this entire time.
I'm not going to do it simply because of volume, but at this stage, Scarlet would basically be screaming at Astryn to wake up. She is not responding to anything you say to her.
Okay.
And Jonan is just pale and is visibly in shock as he's looking down at his sister.
I'm pretty sure I might have an antidote on me.
You can try and use it if you'd like.
I'll use that.
You do have to open. This needs to be ingested, so you do have to like open her mouth slightly. Her jaw is very stiff at this point. And the inside of her mouth, you can see with your previous medicine check, is like a dark purple color. From like this liquid that is now kind of sitting now kind of down even her neck. And you pour the antidote into her mouth. Nothing.
And Scarlet will be screaming for someone to go and get the owners.
Yeah, at this point, Valenda, with the commotion, everyone in this winery is like looking in the direction of Astryn and your party. And in this moment when Jonan is looking down at his sister, he feels around for her pulse. He touches her head, and he looks at you all and he's like, "Can no one do anything?" And with that, and Astryn laying there at this point, dead, we're going to end the session there.
Just like her life.
Yeah, just like her life.
But she's so hot. She's too hot to die.
I'm going to be waiting for the Belinda to go. At least I tapped it before she died, you know.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, guys, and thanks for anyone who's stuck around watching. This was a very long running episode in comparison to the other ones. So
blame the stability of the stream.
It was so stable.
So stable. Yeah.
It's truly so stable. We're gonna, I don't want to keep you guys for too long, so we're gonna do everything at once. We're gonna go around and say a favorite moment of ours, and then we're gonna say who we are and what we're up to. Kicking things off, Ben, who are you? What are you up to? What's your favorite moment of the night, aside from you taking shoes?
Yeah, I'm Ben. I'm part of the Page Group crew. We stream on Tuesday at 6:45 every Tuesday. Sorry. Favorite moment tonight was probably hanging out in the bar.
I've lost mine now, so give me one moment.
Yeah, sure, that was a real good thing. Hey, look, as co-Thirstmaster, surely I can take control of this situation immediately, and I feel like it's going to be Telera next.
I fixed it.
Hey,
Taffy,
done.
who are you? What are you up to? What was your favorite moment?
Talera 79. What I'm up to is basically currently just hanging out here every now and then while other things were in the background. Or watching incredible people on their respective things, like tomorrow morning when I'm watching Castleton, just to see Emily's debut.
Help.
Favorite moment. I am actually sitting here thinking more about how wrecked Scarlett is going to feel, and whether she just decides to smash the winery to bits or
Excellent.
take some form of revenge. So I enjoyed a lot of moments in this game, but my mind is currently, this has emotionally fucked her.
You're welcome.
This is one of the people that helped her learn to accept who she was. And yeah, watching that happen, especially when they were drinking it together the night before, is going to completely fuck her.
Mm. I look forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Hey, D20.
Yes, ma'am. So, favourite moment was Sol's general reaction in the winery. I envision Sol as almost like a one of these foreign students that kind of wanders in, missing some of the nuances and just plows straight on, and it's just a thing of beauty to watch each and every time, because it's just it gets to the heart of the matter quite quickly and then puts our opposition on the back foot so dramatically. It's almost perfect every time. So absolutely love that. I am going to pass on to Promethean because he's the pro gamer here.
Hey, sure. Hi, I'm Promethean. Who am I? I do things. I do things here on Meeples and Dragons and the Law Rights tomorrow night with second session. The Ash Makes Stuff and/or Props is running Tale of Two Queens. So please stop by after having watched Castleton and Emily's appearance in that to cheer Ash on, because the first one was a fun ride. I think my favorite moment was D20's handling of the vision. I thought it was really well done. Like, I enjoyed watching that unfold quite a lot.
Love that. Okay. My favorite moment of the evening was literally watching everyone's reactions to just things in general. And mostly like the threads that are kind of maybe connecting in the background, just generalized reactions to those was my overall favorite moments correlated into one. But yeah, my name's Emily. I guess I was the DM tonight, if that's what you want to call me. Otherwise, usually you can come watch me play Kalani Lisa Terry every Tuesday at 6:45 p.m. Particularly this 6:45 if you're liking my character, because there's some weird shit going down. And I'm over on the Law Rights playing Malia Redwood. That's a lot of fun. It's yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on in the background. And Castleton tomorrow. I'm going to pop the link to the Ko-Fi in chat because I think Promethean and I need all of the fucking help that we can get.
Oh yeah, send us shit. Send us magic
And
items,
for that reason,
boons, love.
if you want to send us boons or magic items and help us survive, I promise you it will be worthwhile. Other than that, I'm not going to test the limits of my computer with a raid because I'm scared. And so for that reason, I think we'll just end the stream here tonight. But have a wonderful evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Until next time. Quick, everyone wave! Wave! Do the thing!